right. I have a screen.
Gillen Faulkner, he's running unattached.
I have comments.
Wearing hip 2, that's Christian Sogard, representing Central Park Track Club Tracksmith. 3, Derek Gross, Central Park Track Club Tracksmith. Hip 4, Tayron Reyes, Leonia Track Club. Hip 5, that's Derek Thomas, unattached. 6, Zachary Mama Yari, St. Lawrence. 7, Hazem Miawad, Garden State Track Club. 8, Sebastian Sanchez, Club Lagartos. 9, Kevin Heredia, unattached. And 10, Russell Dinkins, he represents the NYAC.
Welcome, everybody, to the Trials of Miles New York City Qualifier here in Icahn Stadium, brought to you by Heartbreak Running Company. Thanks for joining the stream. If you're just getting here, we are about to start a heat of the men's 800 Heat C. I'm here joined by my co-host who has somehow managed to beat the rush hour traffic to get here just in time, Kyle Merber. How's it going, Kyle?
Hey, David. I would not say that we beat the traffic by any means. I was definitely in the car for a very long time after a long week of work. But
sometimes you beat the traffic, sometimes the traffic beats you.
It definitely beat me today, but I'm very happy to be here. These are nights we dream of in New York. Late May, you go out for your evening double, and you just, like, I wish that there was a 1500 or something tonight.
Oh, I hear
the undercard races, but we've got some big, definitely better than what we had in Kansas a few weeks ago.
That's for sure.
So, what is our next race? Where are we at? I'm sorry, as I'm just getting set up here.
The men's 800 Heat C is lining up, and in this heat we have Derek Thomas, Tayron Reyes, Zachary Mamiari, Derek Gross, Hazem Miawad, Christian Sogard, Sebastian Sanchez, Gillian Faulkner, and Kevin Heredia. A lot of these guys have run around 150 this season, so if all goes well, we're hoping to see somebody dip under, maybe a 149.
And David, you know, as I'm just setting up, I've got my Wi-Fi now, taking a look. You know, the one name that jumps out at me, just because he's a local guy from the Garden State Track Club, is Hazem. He's super talented, out of Old Bridge High School, used to be coached by my old teammate, Travis Mahoney. And, you know, I think for a lot of these athletes, especially in some of these earlier heats, it's kind of nice. You kind of get to sleep in your own bed, you get to hang out, just make your way over to the track at some point this afternoon. And so you're in a routine, you're in a familiar place where probably a lot of these local athletes have raced a whole bunch in their careers.
Yeah, we got a lot of near and a lot of far, because we have some Garden State folks, some Central Park Track Club folks. We also have a Hoka Aggie coming in from Southern California. So we've got a little bit of everything as this race gets ready to go off.
And they are off. They're, you know, 150, about 55 seconds per lap, but ideally you're going to go out a couple seconds faster, put a little bit in the tank, and then settle in. Generally, I would say the most ideal way to run an 800s with a positive 2-second split, and they are out hard and fast right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking this guy up front is a rabbit, and he's coming through 200 around 25 mid, looks like.
His teammate is just behind him, about 10 meters, but there is a little bit gap opened up as he is slowly getting passed by the field. The rabbit, when I think it's a rabbit based off the fact that the way he just checked over his shoulder, to get an idea of where the rest of the field is and allowing them to reattach.
Yeah, these guys are playing it a little smart as this rabbit got a little hot. They're coming around 400 now, 54, 55, looks like 54 high for the leaders. That's right. Maybe a titch under if you want to be under 150, but the good news is these guys look full of run.
Okay, I don't see him on our heat sheet, but that looks like a familiar face up front.
Yeah, that looks like Mr. Dinkins, Mr. Russell Dinkins, Princeton grad.
Russell Dinkins, I believe he's running for NIAC, known for saving multiple college programs this past year as they come through 600 meters in 122.
And he looks great. He's got the inside pull, and there's a couple guys up on his shoulder.
That's Derek Thomas on his outside shoulder in the white hat. But on the inside is Gillian Faulkner. Russell Dinkins is slowly moving into the outside of lane 1, trying to make it difficult to pass, but Derek Thomas is trying to find that one last gear, but Russell Dinkins holds on to win it.
Wow, what a performance. Took the second half of that race in his hands and really ran away with it.
So
that's 151.89 for Dinkins, followed by 152.05 for Faulkner.
What can Russell Dinkins do these days? If you have not yet heard this story, if you're just tuning in and you're unfamiliar, I encourage you to check out, Google Russell Dinkins' name and some of the amazing things that he's done this past year. He's saved Clemson's track program after their men's team was cut. William and Mary was another. Brown is where it all began.
Well, we just heard good news this week from Stanford University that has committed to maintaining all of its existing athletics programs, which is always great news. And as hopefully we come out of this COVID budget crunch that a lot of these athletic departments find themselves in, we hopefully won't have to keep sending Russell in to save these programs, but we're glad to have him.
I would say with a budget like that, Stanford should have no, or an endowment like that, I should say, they should have no problem having budget issues and supporting some Olympic hopefuls. But as we take a look, that view right there, look at that. You don't get many stadiums built primarily for track and field in this country, but when you do get them, they're quite pretty.
Yeah, and if you're sitting from our vantage point in the stands with our smattering of spectators, you get a beautiful view of the river behind the backstretch, and you can see all the athletes warming up in the soccer field next door. So it's a pretty great spectator experience as far as these things go.
That's an underrated aspect of attending races, is what the warm-up facilities are like. You know, it's always great when you're at a really high-level meet and occasionally you'll get a warm-up track, sometimes indoors, sometimes outdoors, but having just a massive turf field next to it, and also bike paths up and down outside the stadium for athletes to warm up on without having to worry about the traffic of New York City, as we're a little bit isolated from the rest of Manhattan.
Yeah, for sure. I raced here in November, and it was really nice, sort of during the height of, mask wearing and ensuring that you're being as safe as possible, being able to warm up and cool down in a little bit more space than Manhattan would otherwise offer.
There's just so many stressful things going on throughout race day that's just one less thing that we don't have to worry about.
For sure. And we got another men's 800 coming down onto the track now. We got John Lewis, Mohan Khalaf, Darius Kipiego, Stephen Evans, Christian Harrison, Brandon Lassiter, Anthony Hawthorne, Luciano Fior, Jackson Walker, and Rob Doherty. And one thing to look out for is that I believe Mr. Doherty is a high schooler from Huntington, New York, who is throwing down with the big boys in this one. So we're excited to see what he'll do.
Yeah, St. Anthony's High School, just a couple miles from my childhood home. So, some hometown bias coming out of this announcer. But, I'd say as you run down the field and you look at their personal best, a string of 148s, I'm sure a lot of these guys were maybe even hoping to get into one of the fast sections tonight. But, they have each other. It's going to be really competitive. You've got a great opportunity here. And I know for a fact a couple of these guys have already had some breakthroughs this season. And so I think that they're going to be able to utilize each other and hopefully push to that 147 range that I know that they're all eyeing.
Sure, and it speaks to the depth of the race where we got coming up later. The guys like Brandon Lassiter and Christian Harrison are in the C race here, so look out for that later. We're going to have some hot times.
And then one guy that I'm looking at, just because I'm very familiar with him because he runs with the Empire Elite Track Club based out of New York, is Luciano Fiori, and he graduated from Siena and was looking for some new training partners, and so he came on over to Westchester and has been running with the likes of Johnny Gregoric and Eric Holt, and they call him the Cannon because he can get out hard.
I like that.
If you were watching in Kansas, in the early morning section, he burst out of that cannon with 200 meters to go and just got nipped at the line, but did set a personal best there. So he's one athlete that personally I'll be keeping a close eye on.
He has a great Instagram handle, Gucci Lucci.
Yeah.
I like that.
So they're the athletes on the track awaiting the final moments. Always nice to be able to have your own lane and not have to be sharing. I think that's an underrated aspect of the 800 is the need to have a little bit of room, be able to wiggle around and not have to necessarily go out in a 23 to get your position.
For sure. And I should also say, I believe we actually have 2 high schoolers in this race. Darius Kipiego is a Rhode Island native out of St. Raphael Academy who will be, I believe, attending Iowa State in the fall.
Iowa State has had an unreal 800 class, or just not even class, multiple classes. I think at Drake Relays, their second heat, who are their second team in the 4x8, they not only won it in like 7:12, but their 5 to 8 guys ran 7:22.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's a HEPS champion team right there.
That would have won a number of HEPS titles, that's true.
And as the stadium gets quiet, we're going to hear the gun go off any minute.
And they're off, and for perspective, they're going to be looking for about 26, 27 seconds per 200. I don't know yet if we have a rabbit in this field or not. We have one athlete up
It looks
front.
to me like that looks like the cannon out hot.
We do have a rabbit, I believe, up front, and then behind him is Stephen Evans out of Canada. We may recognize him from the Kansas City Qualifier, but no hip number up front. Second man behind the rabbit is Brandon Lassiter out of the Atlanta Track Club, and sitting behind him is, I believe, Luciano Fiore with the sunglasses.
And these guys are also out hot. They're coming through in 53 through the 400.
Flat, perfect rabbiting job. Steps off, goes wide, doesn't get in anybody's way, just as you would hope. And Stephen Evans continues to lay down the gas as Brandon Lassiter is tracking him hard. And we have a small gap behind Luciano, I believe, to Darius Kipiego.
Oh, I got a microphone.
And there we see Lassiter coming up on his shoulder. Lassiter's run some solid 1500s in miles as well, so we'll see if the strength pays off in the last 200.
They're starting to bunch a little bit as Mohan takes a big move on the outside, but Luciano Fiore immediately goes wide and covers it.
This is still anybody's race. This is tightly packed with 100 meters to go.
It's Khalif, Luciano, and then the high schooler, Kipiego. He has one more gear with 100 meters left, but the cannon seems to have a response. They're neck and neck with 40 meters to go, but it looks like he's going to hold on to win. That's Mohad Zain Khalef.
Just under 150. 149.66. That's great to see. 2 guys under 150.
Strong race from them. I think they just lagged a little bit. It looks like that 500 to 600 meter stretch on the back straightaway might have a little bit of wind, and if you're not gonna keep those strides short and strong, you may fall victim to it. I think as the night continues to get on, that wind will fall a little bit gentler and the heats will keep getting faster and faster. But you know, you take a look at this past heat, and they're running close to personal best, and you can't expect personal best every single time out. In the 800, a lot of time, the best indicator is just consistency.
For sure, I think we're in a good spot. It's also pretty warm today, but we'll definitely cool down a bit as the prime time races come around. So it's going to be a good weather for mid-distance races, that's for sure.
And I believe that we might have Russell Dinkins down on the track following his victory in the 800 that we saw just a little while ago. Rock that Nyack kit.
All right, Russell Dinkins, congratulations. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm a little winded.
A little winded,
Yeah.
Understandably so. Good to see you out here racing. You've had a big year. You've been working hard this year, saving college programs across the country. Did it feel good to just get out here and rip it?
Yeah, it was cool to come back to my first love, which is actually racing. I spent the year, as you know, for those who don't know, helping to reinstate men's track and field programs across the country. Started with Brown, then University of Minnesota, William & Mary, and the latest school was Clemson, in which we had historic outcome. It was the first men's program that I know of that got reinstated on the basis of Title IX. And then I also filed a racial discrimination complaint with the Department of Education that also helped to bring the full men's track and field program at Clemson back. So super excited. Awesome that those guys have the opportunity and that I've been able to help over 200 athlete opportunities be preserved.
Well, obviously, as huge fans of the sport, as we all are, clearly spending our Friday night here, we thank you for the work that you're doing. So what's next? Is there more to be done, or do you get to just kind of kick back and race a little bit now?
Well, there's still more work to be done. I am taking a bit of a breather. I feel like I need that for my own mental sanity and to recuperate. And over the last 7 weeks or so, I kind of decided, hey, why not try to get back into running a little bit? So, yeah, I'm really excited to, after just about 7 weeks of kind of training, getting back down to 151. For me, I usually start out really slow, so I'm really excited for what's to come. And
hitting the 1200 and 312. Apologies to any of our viewers who may have had some technical difficulties for a moment there, but we're back now, better than ever.
That's Jamie Morrissey up front, the former Michigan All-American, now living and training unattached in New York City. She came through 1,200 meters in 3:29. So Jamie's personal best in this event is 4:18 as she hits 200 meters go in 3:46.
She has gapped the field.
She looks strong. She looks like she's going to be just outside the personal best, but she is running very, very strong. The beginning of the race saw Steph Herrick up front, leading them out, had gapped the field early, and Jamie slowly clawed her way back up. Now with 100 meters to go is doing so in a dominant fashion.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that is UPenn grad Ashley Montgomery in second, who is coming up on 100 to go as well.
So two Michigan natives taking the top spots as Jamie comes through the line in 4:21. I think this is going to be a race she's going to be excited about. A lot of momentum building, and if we can get an eye.
That's 4:27 for the runner-up, it looks like. We're going to get some.
And so that was Goldstein in second.
Oh, my apologies. Goldstein in second.
So sorry again that we had some technical difficulties. We getting that all squared away now, so hopefully later in the night that is not an issue, but we are sorry that happened. I think some power connectivity issues.
If you are joining or rejoining us, we're here at the Trials of Miles New York City Qualifier, the beautiful Icahn Stadium, presented by Heartbreak Running Company. We just finished the B heat of the women's 1500, and we have the B heat of the men's 1500 coming up shortly.
So men's 1500, David, I'll let you go through the long list of guys that we have in this heat with personal bests, ranging from 341 to 350 for the most part, but we do have a number of guys who have run the sub 4 minute equivalent in this heat.
Yeah, and we've got Garrett O'Toole, Graham Blanks, Colin Hebert. This is an Irish name. You got to do it.
Fergal Curtin. I got it.
Bryce Richards, Brian Guijaro, Kendall Muhammad, Ian Ritchie, Brian Crimmins, Brandon Hudgens, Luis Carlos Vargas, Jordan Desponge, Mike O'Leary, David Proctor, Will Laird, Kevin Robertson, Carlos Vilches, and I believe that's everybody. We could have a late ad.
So the two of the top guys in this race, Garrett O'Toole and Fergal Curtin, are training out of ASU. Did some runs with them a year ago when I was there in a training camp. So long way away, although Garrett does have roots at Princeton. As an Ivy guy yourself, you may recall that he was at Princeton.
Yes, long a thorn in the side of our Cornell milers, but a very accomplished miler in his own right. And speaking of Ivy runners, to his left is Graham Blanks, who is a true freshman at Harvard University, Atlanta, Georgia native, who ran 13:35 last weekend in the 5K.
I think of it that, all of the unbelievable race that went on last weekend at the Sound Running, that this kind of didn't get the attention I think it deserved. 13:35 for a true freshman, especially one at a school that is not competing during the NCAA season, shows a ton of promise. And quite frankly, as Ivy guys, we should be very scared of what this might mean. Hopefully he runs so fast he goes pro soon.
Maybe, it's possible. I believe he was running unattached when he ran that 13:35, but Kevin Sully over there at Harvard is really doing a good job. And we have a bunch of other accomplished mid-distance runners in this race, including Brian Crimmins from New England Distance, Ian Ritchie, a Boston College grad who now runs for Central Park Track Club. The man on the third position, Colin Hebert, is a Minnesota Distance Elite runner, Penn State grad, and it was his birthday yesterday, so happy birthday.
There you go. And then also in the red headband is one of my contemporaries. That is Brandon Hudgens, trying to make his way back to the Olympic trials. And so hopefully he can get there today. You're going to probably, the time that guarantees you is 3:37.5, although it does go off of a descending order list, and the field will fill out to probably 32. So I think somewhere in that low 3:38 range an athlete will get in, but they have a rabbit up front and they are strung out nicely, and they're looking for about 58s tonight.
Yeah, and the depth of the men's 1500 right now is such that there's very little margin for error. They're through 300 meters in about 42 seconds, so they're right on pace now.
Rabbit is doing his job perfectly. I'm trying to get an ID on who that is in second or third as they come through 400 meters in 57 seconds. So the pace is hot, it's honest, it's exactly what we want to see. And so that is Brian Crimmins. Brian Crimmins is behind Hester as Hester takes a look behind him to see where everyone is. And that's Kendall Muhammad in the yellow behind him, and then one back, Brandon Hudgens.
And these guys got about 500 meters of pace work out of the rabbit. You normally want a little more than that, but the good thing is there's a lot of guys in this race who are still keeping it honest, so hopefully we'll see a good second half.
We're about 127 at 600, and I think that he immediately recognized that and is starting to inject some pace back into it. You'd be scared by that 57 that you might start to settle, but you don't want that to happen as we see 700 meters in 143.
Yeah, so that was about a 61 finish to finish, so hopefully these guys are not going to let it slack too much, and it looks like Muhammad is rolling up on the leader's shoulder to keep it honest here as they come through in 158.
It's about working together right now, making sure that it's competitive, as we almost have an athlete go down. That's Colin Hebert, but he shows off his athleticism, and he's good. He's on his feet.
And I will say the Central Park Track Club runner, Ian Ritchie, on the inside looks very comfortable right now, so keep an eye on him in this final lap.
In second place behind Muhammad is the Cork lad, Fergal, all the way from the Emerald Isle and ASU, but here in New York, and he looks great sitting behind Muhammad. But Muhammad is controlling this race very well from up front. Whenever anyone starts to make a little bit of a move, he responds immediately.
Yeah, and we've got a full field coming into a lap to go. This is still very much anyone's race. 2:45 at the bell, so let's see who can close hard.
And I believe that's Brian Guijarro on the inside. He's a little boxed in. He's trying to itch and find his way out, but as I pointed to, Muhammad is controlling this thing, and every single time someone's making a move, but Fergal now aggressively takes over.
And he looks like a man on a mission for sure.
Guijarro finds his way out. He maneuvers to the front with 200 meters to go. They are about 3:13, 3:14. He's making a move early. Hebert, who had almost fallen earlier, is tracking him just behind. Did he move too early?
And it looks like Hebert is right off his shoulder with 100 to go, but these guys have separated a little bit from the field, and as they come down the finish line, they're both full of running. It looks like Abert's pulling ahead with 40 meters to go.
Abert seeing
He's got this one in the
best
bag.
just slip away, but he does pull off the victory here tonight.
That's a good consolation birthday present, I'd say.
You know, he was so close to having the night ruined, and so the fact that he was able to bounce back, take the win, run 3:43.1, right about that 4 flat mark for the milers at home who can't do a conversion. Ran it well, just slowly moved his way up. I think Kiharo had it in him, but just made that move a little too early. Showed his cards with 200 meters to go.
And the good thing for these milers, you know, it's that the 1500 is so tactical that even if you're not necessarily running a PR every week, just getting that racing experience is so valuable, particularly as you sort of move more into the championship edge of the season.
So is that it for our undercard tonight?
I believe that is it for another 20 minutes or so. Well, we have to preview this meet for folks just tuning in, and maybe talk to some friends, maybe see what the deal is with this Chris Chavez mile.
I cannot believe Chris has wiggled his way into the main program. That's how you know he's become too powerful.
When you get to set the program, that's when you get to decide.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but you know, this is something that we've been talking about for a really long time, and I saw you know, Malcolm Gladwell walking around here, warming up, looking very serious. I know Chris was taking this extremely seriously.
He did tell me, I will say, Kyle, not to inflate your already enormous ego, but when Gladwell came by the table over, he was looking for you, and he'd said he'd never met you before, but he was looking forward to it.
Wow. Okay. Well, as an avid reader of his books, I would look forward to that. Oh, and look who it is. We have a special
guest. The man, the myth, the legend.
We have a special guest here for...
Let's see if we can
the next 15, 20 minutes.
Cut up to the booth for a little while.
Here, look, I'm going to give him this headphones as I run and take care of something really quick.
Sounds good to me. Hey, man. And although we are still looking at the finish line here, joining us in the booth is esteemed Blue Jean miler and part-time regular miler, Johnny Gregoric. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you, man. First time.
I know.
I'm a big fan.
Long time. You've been kicking my ass in races for the last decade. So
you're kidding.
Yes, Seekonk, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm a Newton, Massachusetts native.
Oh wow, awesome.
I was
Good
not
stuff.
fast enough to be relevant to your speed at the time.
Oh,
but
I love Newton, man.
And then I got to lose to you in steeplechases all through college. So.
Where'd you go to school?
Cornell.
Very cool. Awesome. All right. Wow. So
this is a beautiful love connection.
We've been meaning to meet for years now, and I'm glad it's finally happened.
I do see, not to spoil things for the viewers, but you're wearing a pair of jean shorts right now, and you are entered in the meet a little later today.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually going to race next week instead of this week. Things that change. I guess it's not reflected in the entry sheets here. Hate to disappoint the
exhibition blue Jorts smile. I don't know what the rules are on that
800, I guess tonight that could have been fun, but
the Jorts 800. That's
no exhibitions. Just enjoying track in my hometown here tonight, and excited to see some great races.
Yeah, are you keeping an eye on anyone in particular? Any races you're looking forward to?
Oh, absolutely. I got a lot of friends running. It's the beauty of the sport, you know. Great community. I got a few teammates actually running the men's 1500. Should be a real barn burner. I'm pretty excited about that one. I got Colby Alexander in there, and my new training partner, Eric Holt, will be duking it out, and that's going to be really exciting.
I think one thing we got to look out for is the steeplechase debut of one Daniel Wynn.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I've only recently learned of this a few minutes ago, that Daniel's making his steeple debut, and that's just very exciting for me. It's going to be really entertaining. I think he's got the body type for it.
He's like 6'5", and 5'10" of that is legs, so I think that, if the coordination is there.
So I went to go see if I can get a microphone, and I could not.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's okay.
Can you hear me through the...
I can hear you great.
So I think we didn't talk enough about the fact that Daniel is making a steeple debut. Like, it really went under the radar.
Well, he goes on and on about how he's a great athlete. And, I guess he's fairly athletic. I haven't really seen much besides the running, but athleticism outplace you in the steeplechase. So we'll see if he can back it up. He thinks he can throw like a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. So if he thinks he can do that, then I bet he can hurdle these barriers no problem.
I'm excited to see. I think as Johnny, a former steeplechaser, knows all too well, nothing is more entertaining to a steeplechaser than somebody who thinks they can run the steeplechase but has not yet done it.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm a retired steeplechaser myself. That's how hard this event is. So I had to drop down to the mile after a few decent runs back in the college days.
You know, I do think it worked out for you. I know hindsight is 20/20, and we'll never truly know, but
we'll never know.
It does seem like this was not the, now that you've made a world's team at 1500, it seems like you can't complain too much about the trajectory your career has taken.
I found my niche, and it's the mile's just too much fun. Can't resist it.
So, all right, do you have a take on Gladwell, Chris? We were talking about it a little bit on the drive-in.
Should be interesting. It's going to be a real clash of the Titans, I think, running 75-second 400 pace. I think that Chris has age on his side, obviously. I think Malcolm has the fact that he's a best-selling author and beloved and can always fall back on that on his side. So really nothing to lose for him. Chris has something to prove here, I think. And he's got I guess they're both New York guys, but I think Chris really needs to show that the young writing generation is here to stay.
And you said that Chris has age on his side.
Yeah.
But Malcolm does have experience.
That's a good point.
And so, bear with me. I did some math here.
Yeah.
So if Gladwell has run for 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, since he was 20 years old, he's 57 now, that puts him about 10,100 hours. So by his own definition,
wow, there you go.
He is now an outlier, and he is an expert in the mile. And
my gosh,
by his own logic alone, we'll see how it plays out on the track tonight.
Yeah, I guess we will.
What does it mean to be an expert in running, though?
I wouldn't know. I'll turn that over to you.
Yeah, I mean, expertise is it's a wide it's a wide net. We'll see. Running 5-minute mile pace for 10,000 hours is another story, I think.
That's a good point. Yeah,
we'll see. He might be a great expert at jogging, but this is middle distance running, baby.
That's true.
This is a controlled sprint.
Give Johnny the opportunity to plug the Blue Jeans mile yet?
I was teasing him about his jorts mile later since it's a warmer day. But I should say that May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah.
And so Johnny is putting together a great campaign with ASICS.
Absolutely.
All about the Blue Jeans Smile and mental health awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, and last year I ran the world record in blue jeans, and it was a great, fundraising event. But this year we've opened it up to the public, and everyone can get out there, run their own blue jean mile, and see what they can do, and also raise their own money for a great cause. So you can go to the ASICS website and you can sign up. You have to the end of the month of May to do it, and if you're able to, you can make a donation to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and it'll go to a great cause, to a great organization that helps a lot of people, and you can have a lot of fun with your friends, looking really silly and running a super uncomfortable mile.
Am I still first?
Kyle was on the top of the leaderboard as far as
I was going to ask. So, Kyle, you're going to have to run us through the recap. And I should also say, for the viewers at home, everybody here is vaccinated. So as our faces get very close together as we share mics,
fully vaxxed here.
This is a COVID-approved activity.
Yeah. Well, I ran a 4:27 mile, but it's important that I always throw a little asterisk on there and let people know it wasn't all out. It was pretty hard, but I think if I'd run a 4:22, it would have been an all-out thing, and I'd have much less confidence right now. But 4:27 in jeans, I would say it's worth a few seconds for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyle seems to forget that he was a world-class 1,500-meter runner very recently.
Kyle constantly reminds people that he was a world-class 1,500-meter runner.
Yeah.
I think he hasn't forgotten that at all.
So I would expect something in the 420 range, and I'm proud of you that you got out there, and I appreciate you supporting the event, but I'd like you to try again and run faster, please.
Yeah, well, Max said that he was going to do like a 4:05 attempt.
Yeah, Mac Fleet was had teased Blue Jean Mile. I'm not sure what came of that, so I'm excited to...
He sent to our group chat a long list of splits that none of us read the other day from his workout.
Yeah.
But
okay.
So he is working out.
The girls on his team.
Yeah, and he's in great shape. Yeah, he's been... and Nikki.
He's done,
yep.
So,
So, he's doing great.
Is there anyone you'd love to see run a Blue Jeans Mile who has not run one yet? You can put them on blast now on the broadcast.
I think I would love to see Malcolm Gladwell and Chris Chavez run a Blue Jean Mile. I think it could do, wonders.
Malcolm doing strides.
Oh,
it could do wonders for the cause.
For those of you who can't hear what Kyle just said, the milers are doing their strides now, and we can see Gladwell down there. He'll be in a red shirt, and Chris is wearing a fresh Tracksmith kit that he's very proud of.
Yeah, they look great.
Branded with the CITIUS across the chest, so he really has no excuse not to run well because
he
has the gear.
He has hyped this up. It's been a few months in the making now, and some say a lifetime in the making.
I will say,
very exciting.
While we're talking about the mile and all your expertise, one thing I did see is that we got Clayton Murphy in the men's 800 later tonight. I need some hot takes from you guys. Maybe not Johnny, since you're still in the game, so you have to stay out of it from your professional obligations. But Kyle,
should I hand over the mic here? Yeah,
that can't hurt. 800 versus 1500 at trials.
He tried to do the double in a much tighter window a few years ago in Sacramento, and I think the 100-degree weather may have gotten the better of him. But, I think that the big difference now is you have the opportunity to really focus on the early one, see how it goes, and then reapply yourself if you don't make the team in the first. So I don't know, I haven't spoken to him about it, but I would expect him to end up doing both, and he's certainly capable of it. He's got great personal bests in both events and shown that he can win in both.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I know the men's 800 right now has some top-heavy talent, but the 15 is depth to spare. So it will be interesting to see who comes out on top of those. Yeah. And I can already see Johnny blushing and tensing up.
Johnny,
so
yeah, you can get his heart rate up right now. No, the 1500. Yeah.
Johnny will also be returning to the steeplechase.
Yeah. No, the 1500 in America is good, and I think that, as always, it's going to be way more about timing than just who's the fastest, and it's going to be how does that race play out. The 1500, an interesting aspect of it, and this same for the 8, is it's 3 rounds, and you don't get that regularly, and so someone who has the experience to do that may be more equipped to handle it, because it's no longer just can you run fast once, which we've seen plenty of people do. It's can you measure out yourself over the course of 4 days, and that 4th day, I know from experience, your legs feel very different than they did the first day.
I believe it, and that's a conversation that we've had many times about the prospects of some of these hotshot college kids and how they'll navigate the rounds in their first outdoor championships. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Another name very interesting in the 800 this evening is Safan Hassan.
Yeah, well, we just saw her race a 5K with complete dominance out at Sound Running, and so she also has an unbelievable 800-meter PR, I believe 156, I want to say, off the top of my head. I don't have my notes in front of me. But she has range, and she has the ability to go from, when you're fit, you're fit. If you can do a 5K as well as she did, I'm confident that she's going to be able to come right back a week later and crush an 800.
I was going to say she's probably close some 1500s in 156 in addition to the open event, and I think will be very interesting to see, what sort of sharpness she has at this point in the season.
Yeah, and that, I think that's something that we see a lot of in this time of the year where athletes are in heavy training, a lot of them. And so some people are showing up to these races fully rested, ready to go. And for others, these races a month out are kind of just something to get into the rhythm of racing again, go through the routine. It's not the thing that's circled on your calendar. And as outsiders, we don't necessarily know the purpose that everyone has for each race and what they're bringing to the table.
For sure. Johnny looks like he's ready to weigh in.
Say goodbye to Johnny.
Let me hop off here and let you guys get back to the dirty work of announcing and all that.
Thanks for
Appreciate
coming
you.
by,
Yeah,
man. Good luck with the rest of the season. We'll hopefully have plenty more of you to see. Maybe crossing the finish line, not sitting in a chair in the booth with us.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. But excited to be back here too. It's a lot of fun. See what you guys like this. And it was great to meet you, Dave.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
All right. I'll hop off.
All right. I wish that we could have had a third microphone, but I think we made do with what we had.
That's for sure. And we've got, for those of you just joining us now, we are only moments away from the Chris Chavez and Friends Influencer Mile. Will be very interesting to see between Gladwell and Chavez who comes out on top. We are here at Icahn Stadium. The weather has dropped a couple degrees. The flagpoles are absolutely motionless, and we're hopefully in store for some real fast times later this evening during our primetime event.
I think personally my new take is no longer if I want Chris or Malcolm. I want the field.
Well,
talk about disrespect.
So I should say, my friend and teammate, Izzy Seidel, who viewers may recognize her last name as the younger sister of one Molly Seidel, she ran a 440 road mile a couple months ago now, and she's not crazy sharp, but she is a very accomplished middle distance runner in her own right, and she's in this race, so look out for her, and I would not be surprised to see plenty of other folks in this race throwing it down at the front of the pack. Allison Lynch, a longtime 1,500-meter expert from Boston who runs and works for Whoop.
You see it on the wrist. There it is.
Oh, yeah. She's ready to roll.
Repping.
Our pacer, as we can see on our screen now, is Brian Schroy, who has flown in from Boulder, Colorado. There apparently is no one in New York who can run 5-minute pace, so we had to bring in the heavy hitters.
Who paid for that ticket? I hope that didn't come out of our third microphone budget.
That was why we didn't have a third microphone, is because we needed a pacer from Boulder. That's what all of the CITIUS... No, I shouldn't even joke about that. We'll get in trouble. And that's Kara Enright from the CITIUS Mag Track Club, rocking the Tracksmith kit here. We have... Do we know what Gladwell's wearing for the race at this point? I don't see him on this down there.
He's a Tracksmith guy as well, if I can remember properly. But, I think that the word on the street is that Gladwell is planning on going out a little bit more conservatively. He's an athlete coming from the strength side of things. He's 57 years old, I believe, has a ton of mileage under his belt. Chris was running sprints on his high school team a couple of years ago.
Chris has been very vocal about his intent to sit and kick, however, so I would not be surprised if we see him stalking Gladwell like a hawk.
Yeah. The question is, would you rather, if I'm Chris, would I rather win the race within the race, because obviously they're both going to lose, or would you rather break 5 and lose?
That's a great question. I think based on his sit and kick strategy, he is committed to winning over running fast. So that's what I would guess. But we will have to see as the race plays out how he plays it.
It's a real battle between David and Goliath, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
First drop.
Yeah, how many different Malcolm Gladwell literary references can we work into the broadcast? And we see Izzy Seidel on the broadcast there, ready to roll. I will quickly run through the entrance. We have Brian Schroy pacing, Ryan Welsh competing unattached, Allison Lynch, hip 3, Malcolm Gladwell, hip 4, Chris Chavez, hip 5, Joseph Park, hip 6, Michael Cosatino, hip 7, Izzy Seidel, hip 8, Richard Isa hit 9, Aaron Osgood hit 10, Jess Movold hit 11, and Kara Enright hit 12 as they line up and get ready to roll. There appears to be a 1-to-1 ratio of photographers to competitors in this race.
It wouldn't be a race in
I'm telling
New
you,
York City. If
the
we
Chris
didn't have-
Chavez Influencer Mile is what I have decided this race is called. Whether he's mad at me about that after the fact, we'll find out.
I think something that we have to give Chris some kudos on is the amount of pressure he's put on himself for something that he won't be able to do.
He's a very vocal guy, which I appreciate, because as much as I love running my mouth on any sort of social media platform and or podcast and or live broadcast, I tend to keep it pretty low key about my own running. And Chris's, very candid remarks about his training in his podcast and in his other content are probably what makes him a fan favorite coming into this race.
I gotta say, I don't know about Malcolm's socks. I'm out. I think for a mile you don't need
long
socks.
But when you're 57, you might need compression socks. That's the thing. Keeping those calves moving the way calves are supposed to move, I think, is always appreciated.
Now, Malcolm had emailed me a few weeks ago some workouts that he had done, and he wanted my impression, and I said he would be just outside 5 minutes.
Well, we're about to find out whether that prediction pays off, and they are off and ready to go. They have a trusty pacer out front in the T-shirt, and we're going to see how this goes.
It seems like they've immediately settled into 5-minute pace. They're not going to get too much time in the bank. The strategy again was to go out a little slow, about 20 seconds first 109. So okay,
yeah. And
not
I think
too bad.
We're already seeing Gladwell go straight to the back. Maybe he senses that they are out a little hot.
As they come through 209 up front in about 38-39 seconds. So you add about a second and a half for that 9 meters. So the Rabbit is running 5-minute pace. Those behind him just a tad slower.
And Lynch's personal best in the mile is in the low 450s, I believe. So this should be a comfortable pace for her if she is in peak shape. So we'll see. These the women up front are mixing it up in this mixed gender race, but they are among the most credentialed milers in the race, so keep an eye on them.
For sure. As Chris is spending a lot of time in lane 2, he wanted to not just break 5 for a mile, he wanted to break 5 for a mile and 30 meters.
They are through 402 meters in about 74 high, so their pacer, Brian Schroy, is doing a flawless job.
With the gigantic Hustle Clean t-shirt at the front. That's branding right there.
Yeah, he's easy to keep an eye on, which is good. And you're seeing already a little separation. Chavez is hanging off this lead pack here, but go in the wrong direction as we get the leaders coming around to 600 meters.
Malcolm is just sitting on Chris just a few meters back. He's able to see his every single move as they approach 600 meters in about 157, and they're slow.
You know what this reminds me of is a 1500 at the end of a decathlon, where the most interesting race isn't always who wins.
Yes, that's true. This is a race within a race, but you don't blink because it'll be over soon.
That's for sure. And as we are coming up on 700, we have a tight pack of 3 women and 2 men.
Now, a race that was basically billed specifically for Chris and Malcolm, they are in no man's land right now. They're forced to do all the work by themselves. As Brian up front just came through in 2:30, doing exactly what he was supposed to do, but Chris is coming through with 2 laps to go in 2:38.
Yeah, so that's a sign that probably 5 minutes is out of the cards, but I bet we're going to see some fireworks over the last lap regardless. Gladwell got a little tripped up going around that turn there, but he is a man on a mission. He's got his eyes on Chavez, and he's not going anywhere.
The question is, are they going to start winding it up, or are they just going to let everyone go away from them and just focus on each other? It seems that they only care about beating the other one.
I think that much is clear as we are seeing some lead changes up at the front of this race that are not even on screen. But with 600 meters to go, it looks like Izzy Seidel is slotted in behind somebody who I can't see from here.
the Riders come through 1,009 meters in about 3:18, as it is a battle between Sports Illustrated and the New Yorker,
And
publishing podcasts
Chavez
and publishing
is
other podcasts.
digging deep right now as we can see them coming around. He looks like he's in pain, Kyle. I have to say it.
Honestly, I can't imagine that he slept a wink the last couple nights thinking about this.
And coming up to the bell, Izzy Seidel takes the lead, looking very comfortable and smooth.
There's someone who has a chance of breaking 5 minutes in the mile.
Izzy is a marketing associate for Tracksmith, so that's why she gets the fancy OTQ kit.
With 400 meters to go, Chris and Malcolm come through in 4 flat. So we're going to need to see a sub 60 here.
I think we're not going to see one, but I'm interested to see what we will see, because although Chris committed to sitting and kicking, he has been in the lead this whole time.
They're spending a lot of time looking at each other and not necessarily at the clock.
And
Time has
Gladwell
gone out the
moves
window.
in front of Chavez with 300 to go. Izzy Seidel has left the field in her dust as she comes around with almost 180 to go.
As Chris looks down at, I think, his whoop to see how much is left in the race. 250 meters to go, and he's starting to look a little bit too much at his feet as Malcolm is pulling away.
Gladwell has opened up a gap on Chavez. And as Izzy Seidel comes down the home stretch looking very calm and collected, the clock is at 4:46. And she's going to break the tape with daylight to spare today. 4:54, cross the finish line, and the big race that everyone's focused on. We've got Gladwell finishing strong, 100 to go, followed by Kara Enright, and Chavez nowhere to be seen as age defeats beauty.
Chris really put himself out there. He put a lot of pressure on himself, but Malcolm is the one to take it in 5:15.
And Chavez coming down the finish line to the adoring crowd.
He's going to have to come up here straight to the booth and start announcing, and hopefully
Well, he's got an
have
interview.
an answer for himself as well. But no, this was a tough one for Chris tonight. But it's just a season opener.
That's true. There could be a rematch with it. I don't know if we have, enough photographers in the state for a rematch, but we're going to cut shortly to Ali on the run down there with the finishers. But here
Got
they
you.
are.
Izzy, congratulations. How do you feel?
I actually feel very good. That was not as bad as I thought it would be, so the legs are feeling good.
Good. When you showed up here, you walked in. I said, do you need anything? You said, I need some speed. Looks like you got it.
I have not done any track workouts in a very long time, so we did this on a whim. Chris was like, you want to come run a mile in New York? And I said yes.
Is it true?
Yeah, training.
Is it true that Chris told you to go easy on him and to hold the pace back and not go out too hot?
He actually really boosted my confidence a lot. He kept telling me I was going to dust him. So I would like to thank Chris for giving me the confidence.
Well, I would like to thank you for being here.
Thank you.
This was amazing. So fun to watch. What is your favorite dessert? Let's just go there.
Favorite dessert?
Yeah.
Pocky sticks, obviously. Sad I won't get them in Tokyo because I'm a little bitter I'm not going, but it's fine.
Yeah, so do you think that all of the pandemic rollerblading that you did helped and paid off today?
I do think that helped. Lots of cross-training lately. Honestly, I would like to thank Cody Rigsby of the Peloton One app for the training that led me to this mile. I've been biking a lot, but rollerblading as well.
Well, great to have you here. What's next?
Great question. I don't know. Beer. Beer. is next.
Love that plan.
Yeah.
Izzy, congratulations. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great rest of your night.
She represents the district track club.
And before we get to our next race, we should say that the exhibition mile was brought to you by Hustle Clean. Hustle Clean provides unisex self-care products for high performers. They're a Black-owned, mission-driven company, and they invite you to empower your pursuit of greatness by picking up your Hustle Clean gear at hustleclean.com and following Hustle Clean on social media. Trials of Miles viewers can use the code TRIALS10 to receive 10% off on all of their orders at hustleclean.com. And we are shortly before this race gets underway, hopefully going to cut down to Ali again with Gladwell and Chavez, the riders.
Yeah, we've got him here. Guys, you had very different plans going into this. It's my understanding that you were going to sit and kick, and you were going for it. Walk us through what were your plans and tell us about the actual execution of it all.
Go ahead.
I had no plan. I was going to hang on, see what I had left. I wasn't going to go out with the lead group. That was all I knew. I'm way too old. I just decided to tuck in and see if I could catch Chris.
And he did. I went out way too hard. My plan was to try and stick to 76s the first couple laps. And, at the bell, I was ahead of you, but not for very long. And so, from there, he had an extra gear and I didn't. But I'd like to exercise my rematch clause at some point.
All right, let's just go now. Let's just do it. You guys seem fresh. You seem ready to go.
Yeah.
Did you feel bad when you realized you were leaving him in the dust a little bit? Did you feel any remorse?
None.
None.
Whatsoever. As I've stated all along, I'm old enough to be his grandfather. I deserve every break I get.
Yeah, so the guys were saying before the race that you had age on your side. You've got youth in your favor. You've got experience on your side. It's safe to say experience paid off tonight?
I think so. I think that's what we learned here today. I made an unwise choice to run a little faster at the beginning, but no, it just feels in general really good to be back out here and racing. This is the first race I've done in 7 months, and your first race in a long time, right? Yeah, so I don't know. Everything seems to be coming back, and right now it feels like a good time that racing's coming back and track is back.
Track is back, and great to be here with you guys tonight. Malcolm, sir, Mr. Gladwell, I feel like I can't call you Malcolm yet. We just met. What's next?
Sleep? That's what's next.
All right, well, congrats, guys. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for bringing the fun tonight.
Thanks,
Congratulations.
And we are back down on the track, bringing you the women's B heat of the 800 presented by Oli Hemp, which we will tell you about in a few minutes during the championship of the women's 800. And we also, of course, are bringing you this entire meet thanks to Heartbreak Running Company, our title sponsor here at the Trials of Miles New York City Qualifier, as these women toe the line and the gun goes off.
So in this heat, we have Olivia Romanov, Jasmine Frey, Claudia Saunders, Charlene Lipsy. Oh, sorry, reading the wrong heat. Roisin Willis, Sophia Gorion, Michelle Howell, Brenna Detra, Julia Ritz, Julia Whitaker, Sadie Henderson, Mariella Real, Emily Richards, and Olga Koshenko. So we have two high schoolers here in Roisin Willis and Sophia Gorion.
So this is going to be a great one, and we have what I thought was a pacer who is now slotted into second place. So somebody is going ahead of the pacer down there. It looks like Sophia, and I'm going to pronounce this last name wrong.
Michelle Howell is hit number 3 in front as the rabbit now steps off, and in second place is hit number 6. That is Julia Whitaker as they come through 400 meters in 58 seconds. So they're quick. A lot of these
this pace is hot.
Personal bests are right in that 201, 202 range. So they're out fast, but they're packed up, and they have a very competitive field to get this final 300 meters going with.
For sure. And as they come around to 500 meters, the paces are shuffling around left and right. And that looks like Whitaker in the lead.
And that is the high schooler Roisin Willis just behind her in second, looking very, very strong. The two Under Armour athletes from district, that is Michelle Howell just behind her, but we have a big move coming on the outside for Mariella. Mariella Real coming on up with 100 meters to go. The question is, can Juliet hold her off? Roisin Willis in perfect position as they swing off that final 100 meters, and she has a whole nother gear. The high schooler pulling away. She sees the clock. She's going to be so close to 2 flat.
Oh, no, and it's right there.
A fantastic time, 2 flat, 0.7. That is an Olympic trials qualifying mark.
And I believe a personal best for her.
In second place, Julia Risk, 2:01.2, also under that OTQ. Whitaker under as well, so a really hot race. We said that the pace was, the temperatures were cooling, the track is hot.
And they came here to do a job. The NYC qualifier, they qualified. Great stuff. And the second high schooler, Guerrerian, is 2:02.93. Still a impressive performance.
That is exciting stuff. You know, this track has a great history of 800-meter running on it. A lot of Americans have their personal best here. I think of Centro and Leo, but David Rudisha ran, I don't, this is off the top of my head, I want to say he ran like 142, 143 here at New York Diamond League 7 to 8 years ago.
So it's a good track to run the 8. If it's good enough for Rudisha, it's good enough for these runners tonight.
You know, I think the athletes who are warming up right now just saw that, and we just got some momentum going.
For sure. Maybe they were fired up by the Chavez Gladwell race, and these women decided to get the job done as well.
Yeah, that might have been the motivation that we needed, but really a great start to the evening. You know, I think those first 2 races we had in Texas and then Kansas, we were battling some of the elements, and we were able to pull off some qualifiers, but not quite as many as we hoped. But here, off to a great start, as we do have Roisin down on the track with Ali, our race winner.
Roisin, how are you feeling? That was amazing.
Thank you so much. This race meant so much to me. I was really trying to get that Olympic trials to qualifier, so I'm so grateful.
So lining up at the start today, where was your head at? Was it all confidence, a little bit of nerves? What were you feeling?
You know, I've gone after the standard so many times, and I've gone through every single thought you could have, so tonight my head was just blank, you know.
What about now? Anything coming in there?
Just so grateful. I've had a lot of unfortunate stuff happen this year, and so to have a win like this just means so much.
Yeah, so which mattered more tonight, the win or the qualifier?
I mean, goal number 1 was the qualifier, but I knew if I got that win, I would get that qualifier too.
That is awesome. So tell us, what's next? Where will we see you next?
You know, got some meets with my high school, but then headed to the Olympic trials.
So exciting. What's it going to be like going back to school on Monday?
Oh, I don't know. My friends know how much I've wanted this, so I hope they're really happy for me because it means a lot.
I think they will be. It's been so fun watching you tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the trials.
Thank you so much.
That was so lovely. So what a sweet girl.
And you know, I was just thinking of this. Once I put the time together, Mary Kane's high school record is 159.5. So something to think about as we move forward here, as she gets into more high-profile races, better opportunities at the Olympic trials, of course, to run fast. So that's something to think about as the season moves forward. Also,
yes,
want
sir.
to quickly correct myself. David Rudisha ran 141 here.
I believe it, man. This track is hot. It's a big one. Maybe once we see the performances tonight, we can get the Diamond League overlords to bring back the New York Diamond League.
Well, next on the track is the B heat of the men's 800, and both the A and the B heat of the men's 800 are presented by Evil Twin Brewing. It's one of our favorite breweries located right here in New York City, and they're big supporters of the world of track and field, and I'm a big supporter of beer. So,
do you have a favorite Evil Twin beer or beer in general?
This time of year, I like a sour.
Okay.
You know, it's getting nice out. You want something a little refreshing. So we'll have to head over there at some point next couple of weeks now that we're allowed.
Like the Boston 20-something White Boy I Am. I love an IPA.
Of course. Predictable. So next on the track, Hip 1, Mitchell Black. 2, John Lewis. 3, Christian Harrison. 4, C.J. Jones. 5, Abe Alvarado. 6, Rob Heppenstall. 7, Paris Simmons. 8, Jeremy Hernandez. 9, Sergio Miranda. And 10, Olivier
Demoulas, I believe.
I've screwed his name up.
You can do the Irish ones, I'll do the French-Canadian ones.
Yeah, I've screwed up at all 3 races that I've watched him run.
And a bunch of these guys are coming back from Kansas City and a couple other trials of miles meets. I know Mitch Black won the Kansas City Qualifier 800, so we're excited to see what he can do in this.
And Abe Alvarado has the fastest personal best in the field with a 146.5, and no one in this field has a personal best lower than 148. So a loaded field of guys, as they have a rabbit as well. So they are in good company as they come through 200 meters in 24.6. and that is CJ Jones behind our rabbit out of the District Track Club. Looking very, very strong as our rabbit pulls into the outside of lane 1. Olivier is in the pocket just behind CJ, and they're coming through in 51 seconds for 400. Perfect.
These guys are strung out, so you know the rabbit did his job.
Something that I think is very important and not talked about enough is for a rabbit to really be winding the athletes up as they step off. You want them to be leading into the next lap. You don't want them to have to hit a wall. Get that momentum going, and CJ has it as he has now got a few steps on Abe Alvarado out of the Atlanta Track Club, making a move.
And that's Mitch Black coming on like a freight train into third place as well. This is going to be a great race with 200 to go as Alvarado goes into the lead. Will Jones be able to maintain his composure coming into this final 100?
We saw Alvarado win an 800 earlier this year down in Florida, and he is dominating this last 100 meters with 60 meters left. He sees eyes on the clock, and he knows a personal best is in sight. It's going to come down to the dip, and I think he may
This is a big race.
146.1, that is a 0.4 second personal best for Abe Alvarado. The track continues to be hot, huge breakthrough. He's a guy that could have definitely been in that fast heat tonight. He's shown that he knows how to win races, and that's important as we get into the later part of the championship season.
And as we see these races come together and these runners get in these valuable Olympic trials qualifiers, some of these 146 guys, it's going to start to be a question of, you know, what's that Olympic standard? How far away is it? Let's go for those.
So the Olympic trials qualifying time is 146.0. I think that will get in. The way the fields have been shaping up, we're good. I think he's good. I don't know if he'll relax or not, but that Olympic qualifying time is 145.2. The 800, one of those events in which the two are very close together, actually. So it speaks to the depth of American middle distance running, that if you want to be one of the top 30 guys or 32 guys in the country, then you would have quite a good shot of making the team almost anywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we see, looking forward to the men's 800 later, you know, we're going to see a lot more sub 146s in as we go down to Ali Feller down on the track with our race winner.
All right, our race winner. Was that the goal tonight? Were you in it to win it? Were you after the qualifier? What were your goals tonight?
Both. I mean, I wanted to come out here and run a fast time. Wanted to run 144, 145. But, you know, I'll take a win and a nice little PR.
Yeah, really nice PR, so congratulations.
Thank you.
How are you feeling now?
I feel good. I can go back there and race again.
Let's do it. He wants to race again. Can we cue that up? He wants to do it again. We can make that happen. Coming into tonight, nervous, calm, relaxed, where was your head at?
I was relaxed, but I had a bad race 2 weeks ago, and so sometimes coming off a bad race, it's kind of hard mentally to, like, you know, be focused. But, you know, I think once they're going off, I just competed, and I'm trusting my workouts.
All right, so I'm going to give you 3 words. Describe that race for me in 3 words.
That's kind of hard.
Yeah. Making your brain do work after you just ran hard.
I can't think of it. 3 words.
All right, so we'll work on getting there. What's next? What's tonight? What's immediately next?
So after today?
Yeah, are you going out for dinner? Are you going out for drinks? What's going on?
I'm racing Sunday in Boston at the Road Mile. So.
All right. So what's the goal? What's the plan for that? Win. I love it. So. Well, congratulations. Thanks so much for coming out tonight. We'll see you on Sunday.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Allie. And we have fresh off of his mile. How are the legs feeling, Chris Chavez?
Not as good as I expected. Good to see everyone on the broadcast. No cool down, straight to the booth, back to business. That was a lot harder than I anticipated. I haven't run that fast in a while. That wasn't even fast. It's way off my PR, but no, it was good. It was good to be back out there racing, and then back out there surrounded with a bunch of people. The atmosphere here is looking great. It feels great on the track, so I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and I should say, a peek behind the curtain for the viewers at home. Chris was resolving technical difficulties. He was getting the stream up. Much as my erstwhile replacement, Kyle Merber, will tell you as the Long Island Mile meet director, putting on a race and racing at the same time is a Herculean challenge, and you took it in stride.
Yeah, I was a little stressed out. I was ready to warm up at around like 6 o'clock. I didn't get a chance to up until like 6:25, almost 6:30ish, because we had a couple issues with the live stream. I'm sure that people saw, but no, it was good overall. Everyone that participated in the race seemed to have a good time, and that's what was more important at the end of the day. And so, yeah, I'm ready to see some really fast performances. I hope people enjoyed that at home. I don't know how that was to watch, but I went for it. And, we ended up getting a little bit of a race there, so it was good.
It was a lot of fun to watch, that's for sure. And there was a teaser of a rematch, so you'll have to stay glued to Strava to see if that's
yeah, whenever Glado wants it, he can set up the time and place, and we'll broadcast it again.
All right, and this is it for me, so I am signing off. Thanks, everybody who listened to my terrible Chris Chavez impression. I'm going to hand it back over to the professionals. And as we get kicked off for this women's 1500, we will return momentarily to the dream team that everybody signs in for, Chris Chavez and Kyle Merber.
Yeah, apologies to people that might have a little bit of a track hack here going on.
That's good. You got their sexy rasp, like.
Yeah, what did you say? The morning
voice. Yeah, pre-coffee voice. It's always an appealing.
Hey, Chris. How you feeling, bud?
I'm getting better.
Can we switch seats?
Yeah, let's switch seats.
All right. Maneuvers like that are reasons why I'm happy we're on YouTube and not NBC, so you can just switch seats like that.
Yeah, we could switch seats.
There's
we're back.
No rules.
Reunited. How was David?
He was really great. I preferred him.
All right.
I can't believe, look at, you're burning the candle on both ends here tonight.
Yeah, what was this? It's been less than like 15 minutes since the end of my race, and I'm back here?
Your whole life. You'll think twice next time you go to interview an athlete immediately after a race. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
But now we have the women's 1500 on the track. This race is sponsored by the Kingston Family Vineyards. Thank you again to them for sponsoring this race. They also sponsored a race in Kansas City. The Kingston Family Vineyards are longtime fans of track and cross country. They're especially excited to be sponsoring such a great field of women tonight and are hoping to help send some new qualifiers to Eugene.
I want to see Otto Bolden run like a sub 1000 and then get in the booth 10 minutes later.
Yeah, you're a hero. So tonight, hip 1, Dana Giordano. 2, Erica Kemp. 3, Danny Aragon. 4, Amanda Rego. 5, Abby Cooper. 6, Leanne Farber. 7, Alicia Williams. 8, Anna Shields. 9, Mackenzie Andrews. 10, Mary Kane. 11, Rachel Kratsky. And 12, Abby Goldstein. Our athletes are on the track.
Mary Kane was a scratch, I believe. She just not ready to race yet. I mean, coming back from hip surgery, there's no need to rush. But, the trials are looming. We'll see if that's still in the cards for her. But we wish her all the best on her road to recovery.
So we are looking for the Olympic trials qualifying time of 4:06 flat. The Olympic standard is 4:04.2, and that is our rabbit up front. Jamie Morrissey doubling back after her victory earlier this evening in the 1500, and right on her is Dana Giordano looking super confident and comfortable. Tucked in beside her is Danny Aragon of Empire Elite, and these ladies are starting to roll.
For those unfamiliar, Dana Giordano is the host of the More Than Running podcast on the CITIUS Mag Podcast Network, so check that show out wherever you get your podcasts.
They come through in about 47 flat 300 meters. We can't express enough how important it is running for a standard tonight to have a rabbit that you know and you can trust, and Jamie is doing a great job as they come through 400 meters in about 63 high, 64 flat. So maybe a little bit on the quicker end, but it looks like Dana is fit and ready to go.
Yeah, and the interesting thing here is what Dana wants to get out of this race, which is serving a little bit as a tune-up if she decides
to focus on the 5K at the trials. She locked up the standard last December, has recently been doing an altitude training stint in Park City, Utah with Erica Kemp, her teammate, who was also in this race. So we'll see if she's just trying to get the wheels moving a little bit before she also competes at the Boston Boost Games later this weekend.
And then Danny Aragon, this is one of her first races of the season and year. Trains right here in New York, and she looks really comfortable. I know for her, she's been having workouts just starting to click a little bit, and I'm sure we're going to see some good things out of her tonight as they approach 2 laps to go in 1:55. Again, Jamie is doing a great job up front. The ladies tucked in behind her, feeling like they don't even have to look at the clock. You got a metronome and a rabbit up front.
Yeah, I'm still also waiting for that Danny Aragon moment to pop. She was a standout star at the University of Notre Dame, has been training here on the East Coast for the past couple of years, and this could be it. She's had her eyes on the standard for a while, and someone like Dana Giordano right in front of her is the perfect person to probably try and drag her to that.
Yeah, as they came through 800 meters in about 2:13, you saw a rabbit step off, and Dana immediately come and command the front of the race. Something that you might expect from a 5K runner. But someone that we want to keep a really close eye on tonight is Amanda Rigo. We've seen her a couple times throughout the Trials of Miles series, and she's someone that a few years ago had a lot of injuries, but has a personal best of, I believe, 4:26 for the mile. So,
and 4:10 flat for this.
And, you know, I think that she was just 100 meters short in Kansas of really finding her legs again, and she's starting to itch up on the outside as they approach 1 lap to go. So she must be feeling strong as Dana comes through in 3:04, turning into 3:05. So they're looking for about a 61 close.
Let's see how that altitude has been working on the BAA squad. But here's Danny Aragon making her move.
Danny making a strong move. She saw the clock, and she wants that time. I believe her personal best of 4:09 is under threat right now.
Really opening up her stride here.
That final lap can be a little bit longer than you think, so hopefully she is, allocating her energy properly, but she's running with so much confidence with just 200 meters to go. She sees 3:37 on the clock and knows that a personal best and hopefully maybe even that Olympic trials qualifying time is within sight.
Maybe a little home field advantage that she's fitting into here. We've got some fans of Empire Elite
in
the stands.
No signs of slowing down as she whips around the curve.
3:55.
She sees the clock, and it is like a magnet. She's coming to it so quick right now. She knows the personal best is in sight, but how big of a time is it going to be? 4:07, a huge opener for Danny Aragon tonight. 4:07.6. That will most likely be good for her to get into the Olympic trials. It's not a lock, but what a wonderful last lap that she had. Really just dominant, showing a lot of strength to move that hard, that far out.
Like I've been saying on social media kind of all week, it's been good for New York sports teams and athletes recently. You got the Knicks in the playoffs, Islanders in the playoffs. Liberty were undefeated. The Yankees are turning it around, and now Empire Elite here with a strong showing.
You can see Danny and Jamie just embracing, so excited. Those two trained together for a few years with the New Jersey New York Track Club and still regularly get together for runs and workouts. Maybe a picnic in the park here or there.
Everyone loves a good picnic in the park.
So really an exciting race for her. We're going to get an interview down on the track soon as she catches her breath. Although, Chris, as you sit here coughing into the microphone, you can probably attest to the fact that it is not always the easiest thing in the world to do an interview after a race, because you're a mess 20 minutes later.
Yeah, the track hack. Ain't nothing like it.
For those who are not here with us tonight and watching on YouTube at home, I can't express how perfect the conditions are.
It's great. Perfect conditions to try and run fast.
And now we have Ali.
All right, I've got Danny here. Danny, congratulations. Just missed the Olympic trial standard, but huge PR and the win. How do you feel?
I feel really good. Jamie took us out great, so I knew it was going to be a good opportunity. And yeah, we've been working really hard, so it's fun to get to run in our own backyard.
Yeah, you were kind of all sitting together until that last lap, and then you just took off. Was that the plan, hang in there and then kick it?
I mean, I was planning to just hang as long as possible and then kick, but I felt like surprisingly good with 400 to go. And I was like, I knew we went through it a fast time, so I figured I'd go for it, and if I died, whatever.
You didn't die.
Yeah,
Great
thank
news. You didn't die, and you got the win and a PR. Huge congratulations. What's next? How are you going to celebrate?
Next week, I'm going up to Boston for another shot at the Olympic trials standard. So
You're right there. So close. Well, congratulations. We wish you all the best. Thanks for being here with us tonight.
So that race was brought to us by the Kingston family. Next on the track is the fast section of the men's 1500, brought to you by Merber Planning Services.
I feel like you've been waiting all week to do this ad read.
Hey there, track fans. Are you a future-oriented person who likes to learn and plan your financial future, but could use a seasoned professional's expertise? Look no further than a familiar name that you know and can trust, Merber Planning Services. This father-son duo of Mitch and Kyle Merber work together to educate interested individuals and small businesses to explain life insurance, disability plans, retirement accounts, and long-term care benefits. They have a combined 46 years of experience and an average mile time of 6:30. They've worked with many of your favorite professional runners before, but now it's your turn. If these topics are on your radar, then please reach out to Kyle at merberplanning.com and let's talk. No matter how far away that finish line may seem, it's important to be prepared come race day. That is Kyle at merberplanning.com.
Love it. That was amazing.
Did I do well?
Yeah.
My dad and I went back and forth like a billion times on what that ad read would look like.
What, is there promo or anything?
No, you just have to email Kyle at merberplanning.com.
Love it.
And we can talk about all those good things like life insurance and disability plans. Get in touch, Chris, after that race.
Yeah.
And then in this race, Hip 1, Victor Palumbo. 2, Kevin Kelly. 3, Nick Dahl. 4, Eric Holt. 5, Kenneth Hagan. 6, Tim Gorman. 8, Jacob Dumford. 9, Julian Oakley. 10, Garrett O'Toole. 11, Peter Callahan. 12, Colby Alexander. 14, Eric Jenkins. 15, Isaac Updike. And 16, Kevin Robertson. Obviously, Eric Jenkins, who we can expect to see as a contender in the 5 and 10K come the Olympic trials, but dropping down. He does have quite the personal best, I believe, of 3:35 himself. So, you know, he can run the 1500 too. Another athlete in this race, fastest time in the field, 3:34, is Colby Alexander. This is the first time we'll see him race this year. And he has been out living and training in Flagstaff, coming down to sea level. And he's a guy that I think that in 4 minutes, everyone might have a very much different impression of about his odds of making this team.
Really? What have you heard? What's the rumor so far?
The rumor is I've trained with Colby and raced with him, and if you give him a few weeks of training, he's extremely good at running.
So what exactly were some of the injuries that have been bugging him the last couple of years?
It's generally lower leg stuff that he deals with, but he's actually strung together a good little stint of healthy training right now. And I'm excited to see how he does. Another athlete in here, Isaac Updike, ran the 8:18 steeplechase out at Hayward earlier this year. And then everyone's favorite, Eric Holt, another Empire Elite athlete, is in the field coming off his victory there in Kansas. And
recent appearance on the CITIUS Mag podcast. Learned a lot about him.
And so Luciano Fiore is our rabbit here tonight, the cannon, and immediately on him from New Zealand is Julian Oakley. Julian Oakley has a personal best of 3:39, but I've seen him run some great 3Ks before. We know how talented he is, and for him, I think that tonight is going to be one of the best opportunities he's seen as he approaches 300 meters in 41 high 42, really perfect. And you can see that Merber Planning Services logo in the corner. How nice. Dad is going to be pumped. But Luciano is doing a great job. Eric Jenkins just behind him, and Eric Holt in third. They're looking very, very strong through 400 meters in 56 high, 57 flat.
It's really interesting to see where Eric Jenkins is at so far in his career, I guess, with his focus right now dabbling in a 1500. He's supposed to maybe double back in the 5K later tonight. It's just something that, you know, he's really trying to sharpen all those tools that have made him successful in the event. In 2016, finished 4th at the Olympic trials in the 5K. So we'll see. We'll see what he's got. And I remember he had a great showing at the 5th Avenue Mile a couple of years back. So he's got that miler speed and won an NCAA title in the 5K as well. So He's a man of all trades.
On the outside of Eric Holt's shoulder, that is Garrett O'Toole, and behind him from Central Park, Victor Palumbo as they come through. 2 laps to go in 1:43. So they've slowed a little. They're starting to settle into that 60-second pace. Hopefully our rabbit up front realizes that, senses it, as they are starting to pack up a little bit and start stringing them out again before he steps off. At 800 meters, they are 1:58. So just a little bit slow on that last lap, but the race, we have a fall. It looks like Victor Palumbo may have gone down. Hopefully he's okay. No one else really got tied up with 600 meters to go. It is still Luciano up front with Julian Oakley behind him and Eric Jenkins.
Tucked in the middle right now is Colby Alexander. I barely recognize him. He's got long flowing hair and a mustache going on right now.
Yeah, and he is wearing just a plain black jersey tonight as our rabbit steps off in about 2:28, 2:29. So they're going to probably start hitting the gas soon here. I think that they're definitely cognizant of the fact that the pace has slowed.
Look at the arms on Eric Holt right now. He's going for it.
A huge move by Nick Dahl swinging up to get into position with 400 meters to go. He's just on the outside of Julian Oakley, but Eric Holt is there to follow him, and Peter Callahan is tracking not far behind.
The other thing about that you've mentioned before in Kansas City and now here today is when you've got 340 guys all bunched up together, each one of them is pushing themselves ready to really pop, and that's what we've got going up in the front right now with Eric Holt and Nick Dahl. Nick Dahl ran 3:40.22 in Connecticut back in April. Less than 200 meters to go. Eric Holt is up in the front. Dahl responding.
Dahl very strong to immediately pass back, but Peter Callahan has a crazy close. Julian Oakley, who I thought was done, is now reappeared with 100 meters to go as they go outside, and it's Eric Holt versus Nick Dahl. Julian Oakley is seeing if he can respond, but Eric Holt seems to have that one final gear, and it's going to be another victory at the Trials of Miles.
That is a triple crown.
A triple crown!
That is what we were talking. We floated the idea to him on the podcast. It's like, all right, you've got to win in Texas. You've got to win in Kansas City. Can you pull off the triple crown? He just did it here tonight. 3:39.85. That is a personal best for him. First time he's gone under 3:40.
Look, Eric Holt has proven himself as a guy who can win. We do get another interview, which will be good. He's running over to the crowd. He's signing autographs. I think he's kissing a baby. Wow, he's pumped. We just need to get him in a 3:35 race. That's what it comes down to. Oh my God, what is he doing?
Wow, look at this.
Oh, wow, he's getting the whole crowd going. He's fired up right now.
I can't wait for this interview. I said it in Kansas City, and I'll say it again. He is going to deliver here as well.
Oh,
man,
he is really just. Someone's throwing him a Stop Holt shirt, I think.
No way.
Yeah, I made that up. But really, really pumped. This guy's an entertainer. He was hilarious on your CITIUS Mag podcast with
Go back
him.
and listen to that episode about 2 weeks ago, I believe now. Ali's going to end up getting 10 seconds with him.
Oh, my gosh. We need way more than 10 seconds with Eric Holt.
All right, let's get ready for the Eric Holt show.
Eric, holy cow, this is for you. You seem fine. Do you want to take this interview on the run? You seem like you've got a lot more in you. Triple Crown winner, as we're calling you. 3-time Trials of Miles winner. How's it feel?
It feels really great. It's just funny because, honestly, I just need to work on my confidence because I see these names and I'm super intimidated. But, slow and surely, I'm learning to believe, and I love the fact that all my friends come out here. They still support me, and that's just so great to have people who support you.
So you crossed the finish line with the win and what I understand is a personal best.
Yes.
You kind of shrugged after you finished. You were just like, oh, yeah, I did that. What was the shrug about?
Well, I thought if I won, I would run 3:36. And then I saw that I only ran 3:39, and I'm basically shrugging because I know I have more in the tank, and I know I have more to give. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know where the camera was. For sure. I just know I have a lot more to give, and I'm so thankful for the opportunities my club and everyone has given me.
All right, so give us a quick, for everyone who's watching this on our live stream, when it comes to confidence, give them a bit of advice. How can everyone go home and work on their confidence today?
Well, the reality is to have confidence, to have the confidence to win, you got to really believe it.
It's one thing to have confidence and like, hey, I'm cool and all, but it's another thing to truly, in your inner subconscious, believe you can win. Believe that you're out here in the beautiful New York and you can win this thing and take down a lot of great, talented runners. And honestly, I'm just glad to be out here.
We're glad to have you. Congratulations. Amazing job. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Back to you guys.
Never fails to deliver.
I just love him so much. He is the man. Triple Crown, our first Triple Crown winner ever. Eric,
Trials and Miles.
Another personal best. Really awesome to see. But next on the track, we have the fast section of the women's 800 because the action does not stop.
Nope. And the great thing about this, see, the comment section absolutely loving Eric Holt. Holt is what track needs. I'm so inspired right now. Love this guy. Holt for president.
Yeah.
Just great.
Great stuff. All right, well, the women's 800 is brought to you by Ole Hemp. Proud sponsor of this race. Ole Hemp produces high-quality, environmentally friendly products from hemp grown at their farm in Pennsylvania, Oregon, and Montana. Their flagship product, the Roll-On, features ingredients such as menthol, camphor, arnica, and 500 milligrams of premium-grade CBD isolate. It's non-greasy, no-mess applicator, makes it a great choice for runners on the go. Visit oleyhemp.com today to learn more. That's OLEYHEMP.com. And Chris, I am a customer myself.
Really?
I do occasionally get an ache or pain. Believe it or not, I am human, and I do roll it on.
So in this one, we've got a quick spot from Whoop.
My strength for the day, and it tells me when to back off and when to push forward, and the splits on my watch don't do that. Whoop simplifies things. I feel like a lot of times you wake up and you self-evaluate, how am I doing today? And then I pull up my phone and I check. And it's always pretty spot on. When you are recovering, you can keep pushing forward, and when you're not, it's best to back off. And so it really keeps things simple for me.
Here, you
Back
see
on the track.
The women's 800 in this section. Hip number 1, Olivia Romanow. 2, Jasmine Frey. 3, Claudia Saunders. 4, Charlene Lipsy. 5, Sifan Hassan. 6, Shalina Oskam Clark. 7, Rebecca Mera. 8, Nikki Hiltz. 9, Samantha Murphy.
So, obviously, the big name to watch in this one is Sifan Hassan, who's got a 156.81 personal best from the 2017 Monaco Diamond League. But not too far behind her is Charlene Lipsy, who's run 157.38 from the 2017 Lausanne Diamond League. But that PR, a couple years removed as well. She's been battling a couple injuries, taking the steps to come back. Was practically U.S.'s number 2 behind Ajay Wilson for a couple of years. But slowly but surely she's progressing, and now we're underway. Let's see what she does.
The Olympic trials qualifying mark is 2:02.5, although virtually every athlete in the field has that. So we're looking more towards the 1:59.5 Olympic standard. As our rabbit is out very, very hot, getting away from them. But that is Nikki Hiltz, who comes through 200 meters in about 28 seconds at the front of the race. And Sam Murphy is swinging to lane 2, going around and taking control up
And that
front.
could be a little bit of teamwork there, because they are both training partners out in San Diego. Sam and Nikki do a lot of work together, coached by Mac Fleet, our good friend.
Rebecca Mera coming off a great 1500 breakthrough of 4:07 last week at the Sound Running, swinging into 3rd.
And the really fun part about what we're seeing right now is that as a pacer comes through in, what was it, like 50?
The pack was 59 flat or so.
But Sifan Hassan doing what she does in a lot of championship races, going all the way to the back, and then on the bell lap, really kicking people down. She's making her way now.
We saw her run a 14:35 5K last
Casual,
week.
mostly by herself.
And with 300 meters to go, she's making a big push from far out as Nikki Hiltz in lane 1 is going to see if they can respond. But Sifan is making a strong push, but Nikki does have life left in those legs. With 200 meters, they are 129 turning to 130.
Nikki with a 2:01:37 personal best from April 2019. Really, they've got a 4:01 personal best, and now knocking on the door of sub-2.
And Rebecca Mara right there on the outside of her shoulder. Savon just looked behind to see if they're coming, and I think that they sense that as Nikki Hiltz seems to have saved one last gear, but we'll see if that finish line is too close to get her. She keeps looking back. Rebecca Mara's coming up on the outside. Savon Hassan just dips at the line and just barely holds Nikki and Rebecca off. A 2:01.5 for Hassan. So the fastest time of the day belongs to the high schooler.
Wow.
The second section.
That happened while I was probably warming up, I think.
Yeah. So a really great race there. I think shows a lot of promise for Nikki in the 1500 as we look towards the Olympic trials.
2:01.82.
Her ability to respond to that move. You know, oftentimes you get passed in a race and the momentum starts going behind you. And I think it shows a confidence in the ability to get swallowed up a little and then still have that ability to bounce back and rebound and close the way she did those last 80 meters.
So the funny thing is I had dinner with Mac and Nikki and Sam last night, and Mac pointed out that this is exactly what Safan Hassan does during races, and he predicted it to the T. And so Nikki had a plan, and that's exactly why she was able to close really hard and respond. But Nikki's down with Ali on the track, so we'll toss it over to them.
All right, Nikki, strong race out there. Congratulations. The guys were just saying up in the booth, they said Nikki had a plan. Is that accurate? What was the plan? Tell us your side of that story.
Yeah, the plan was to get out hard. You know, the fastest I think I've ever come through an 8 is like 60 high, so it was try to, you know, be 57, 58 even, and I think we're a little slower than that, but yeah, it was get out hard.
All right, so you did that. Great race, second place finish. How are you feeling right now? How are the legs feeling?
Yeah, the 800 is hard, man. It was hard, but I don't know. I love having people here. This is so fun. But
I love having you here.
Yeah,
it's so great to see you. Walk us through what's next. We obviously know the trials are coming up. What's happening for you between now and then?
Tomorrow I'm going to Boston for the Adidas Boost Games, but after that, we're on a 1500 in Portland and then the trials. So I like racing, so I'm racing a lot.
We love watching you race. All right, very important question. Favorite food, favorite movie, favorite TV show? Go.
Food, what was the second one?
Food, movie, TV show.
I thought you said brewery. I was like, that's
sure. That too.
Food, breakfast burritos. Movie, Mean Girls.
TV show.
Oh, Schitt's Creek.
Obviously. Nikki, amazing race. Congratulations. So good to see you here.
And it looks like we might have Safan Hassan following her victory there down on the track with Ali.
All right, I've got Safan Hassan here. Big win. Congratulations. How do you feel?
Oh, yeah. I feel good. I feel myself.
Yeah, so you're coming off of this amazing 5K that you just ran. Now you drop down to the 800 meters. Which felt harder, the 5K or the 800?
Oh, the 800, because I have raced since 3 years. I forgot totally the tactic and how to race. So I wasn't back the first 400 meters. I should wait, but the last 400 I was starting sprinting line 3 or line 2. Then I was died the last 50 meters or 20 meters. I was walking.
Yeah, so we saw you looking over your shoulder quite a bit in that last 100 meters. Were you worried, or did you feel like, I've got this, I just want to know by how much?
Yeah, I was like, okay, I was walking. Who gonna pass me? Because I couldn't really move my leg, especially the last 40, 30 meters. I think I sprint too much. Maybe I get the PB 400 meters today here.
Well, amazing race. Congratulations. Thanks so much for coming out with us tonight, and we look forward to see you racing again soon.
Thank you so much. It's really beautiful stadium, and everything was perfect, but I just came myself as good. I need it.
All right, well, go sit down and relax and enjoy. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That was a great race for her. I'm so excited to see what she ends up doing at the Olympics this year. She's
Yeah,
fit.
and
When you're fit, you can do any event.
Yeah, and from the sounds of it, I guess like the focus might be the 10K 1500, same exact thing that she won in Doha.
It's amazing. Well, next on the track is one of the main events of the evening. It's brought to you by the Evil Twin Brewing Company. New York City is proud. Evil Twin Brewing NYC is proud to sponsor the men's 800. Everyone knows that this distance is what all the cool kids run. It's the only distance where you have to show both hardcore endurance and insane speed. We at Evil Twin love all distances, but the guys and girls of the 800 will always have a special place in our heart. This is an unbelievable race, so shout out to Evil Twin Brewing Company for grabbing this one. I think one of the premier races that a lot of people are looking at, and once I run through these names real quick, you'll know why. It's hip number 1, Vincent Crisp. 2, Eric Sawinski. 3, Ryan Sanchez. 4, Tonatiuh Lopez. 5, Clayton Murphy. 6, Eidos Ibadan. 7, Kwamel Prince. Hip 8, Alex Mmankwa. And 9 is Robert Downs.
Obviously, the fastest personal best in this field is right there, Clayton Murphy. See the Olympic rings on his shoulder. One arm sleeve. I guess he's got to keep the...
He's got the swagger back.
Yep,
he's got it.
The shooting arm hot. 142.94 from Rio in 2016. That's what earned him the Olympic bronze medal behind David Rudisha and Taufik Makhloufi, I believe.
And Clayton really looked great. He's come around very well this spring. The 1500 at the Drake Relays, he won in 3:39, looking extremely strong. And I think, we're speaking to it a little bit in the pre-show, is the question is he going to go to 8, is he going to go to 15, or is he going to try and do the double?
So you, as someone who competed in the 1500 at the Olympic trials, when you have someone who, do you think of someone like Clayton Murphy as like an 800-meter specialist? Same thing with like a Robbie Andrews. What makes them so dangerous in a 1500?
Sometimes when you run 3:51 in the mile, you can't discount them ever. So it doesn't even necessarily matter just how good they are at the 800. But
about this race, he's been looking forward to it. Puerto Rico with a strong 800 presence with Andres Arroyo for a couple of years as well.
As he starts to swing wide, that's Vincent Crisp on the inside. They come through in about 51 seconds for 400 meters, and they're all there. Tonatiuh Lopez, keep an eye on him, starting to move up on the outside of lane 2 in that Nike kit, swinging into 4th place. But it's Sanchez up front, and he's shown that he can run fast from the front. He did it at Mount Sac.
The thing about Clayton Murphy is that he's trending in the right direction. Just ran a season's best of 145 at Mount Sac.
That is 200 meters in 118. So they did not slow down too much on that back straightaway, but they're already starting to gear up. They're winding in, and Tonatiuh Lopez coming around, and Sanchez is there controlling it from the front, but the straightaway, it's going to be any man's game.
It's Mexico versus Puerto Rico now with less than 100 meters to go.
And Lopez is shot out of a cannon. He comes off.
Goodness.
Finds that 4th, 5th gear as he gets through the line in 145 in a dominating final straightaway. Wow, he just beat a very good field, and I said that I think he would be an Olympic finalist when we saw him in Kansas, and I would like to once again stamp that because he just ran 145 too.
He's making 145 look really easy and closing super hard in the last 200. Vincent Crisp in 2nd place, 146.31. Just 0.02 off of his personal best.
And that is the Alex Mmankwa and Vincent Crisp, both of the Under Armour District Track Club, coming in 3rd and 4th. Kwamel Prince there as well. They would have one great 4x8, I'd say, these days.
Oh, absolutely.
So really an excellent race for Tonatiuh Lopez, who shows that what we saw in Kansas was not a fluke. He is for real beating a field like this.
So the only person, so we've talked about how Eric Holt walked away with the Triple Crown. Had it not been for Isaiah Harris in Austin, Texas, Lopez would also be a Triple Crown winner.
Dude, it's not easy to win the Trials of Miles Triple Crown. A lot of people have tried to do it before, but only Eric Holt has been able to pull it off. But Tonatiuh Lopez coming quite close.
And now he's down on the track with Ali.
Can you talk slow? Thank you.
All right, congratulations. Oh,
Me la rifo.
we got fans in the stands.
no va a aprender
Love
nunca.
to see it. All right, how do you feel? Congratulations.
I feel very happy. The time was good. All the race I run in the lane 2. This time I think it's a good time for the conditions of the race. I feel like I can go faster, but I'm gonna still training to learn my times.
So what's next? When are you racing again?
Tomorrow I fly to Portland.
All right,
around
no
the-
rest.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Sunday.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Amazing finish. We look forward to seeing you race again. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So great 800-meter race that we just saw. It's the perfect night out here in New York City right now.
Look at that view. Beautiful. I mean, with a view like that, you have to run fast, and that 800 was really exciting. I think they lagged a little in the middle. Otherwise, we may have seen some 144s out of them. But it's the way that they kind of just were able to pick it up that last 100. They were all saving that one last gear, and it just was Lopez who had the greatest final kick. And exciting, good stuff. And now, as you see, we're getting the women's steeplechase, I believe, is first. Get set up on the track, and the athletes are doing strides there. This is actually a beautiful facility for the steeplechase.
Have you steepled there?
Steepled here? No.
When you were in college?
No,
that
I did
first
not.
year?
But it's a well-placed water pit, and it's
when they had the Diamond League here, it provided some really fast times. Back in 2015 was the last year that they had here. This, I believe, is the first pro track meet at Icahn Stadium, New York City, of this scale, I would say, since that Diamond League.
Yeah, you know, it's a shame that Diamond League is no longer here. I would say that, you know, there were some really excellent performances there throughout the year. Most memorably, when I was in high school, I watched Usain Bolt break the world record for the first time when we were here.
That's right. That happened here. Was that, what, lane 4?
Yeah, well, it was after a false start as well, and I believe there might have even been like a storm delay or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like remembering it as like an extra heroic thing, but that was really when, you know, lightning struck for the first time.
Hey.
So next up, women's 3K steeplechase. This heat is brought to us by our friends at Heartbreak. They have done an excellent job of supporting this series throughout the 3 races that we've put on, and just I think they've provided a lot of really beautiful swag, which is always, you know, something you don't get enough of, if I could say so
Got
myself.
one on right now.
As a professional athlete, you know, meet t-shirts kind of go away at some point, so it's good to see them back.
They've got. I saw they had a tent set up right outside, right by the check-in area, and yeah, the shirts were coming off not the shelves, but off the tables. Hot commodity out here.
So next up in this race, just for some reference, the Olympic trials qualifying time is 9:50, and the Olympic standard is 9:30. The majority of these athletes in the field are, you know, all set. Many of them are already all set with that Olympic trials qualifying time. So now we're starting to look to that 9:30.
This field, I guess the way that it was assembled, a lot of these women just ended up on the same page saying, all right, we came close to that Olympic standard in Kansas City. Let's all get together and give it another shot here in New York City. We've got a lot of recurring athletes from that meet to this one.
That's true. And Chris, something that's always really fun about having my phone on me on air is that there was a professional track meet here in 2017. I should know because I ran it. It was the Summertown Track Series.
That's right. The Tracktown Summer Series.
Yeah.
But for those fans in attendance and for those people watching at home, this is the first large-scale track meet post-pandemic.
Yeah, it's kind of great to have some fans here, make some noise. You saw...
I think 500 tickets were sold.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, just from like a financial perspective of running a meet, that makes a huge difference.
It does, yeah.
Obviously, like the ability to provide a live stream for free on YouTube is not possible without many great sponsors and help along the way, but those 500 tickets sold really contributes to making that happen. So we appreciate everyone tuning in
Hit
on
that
YouTube.
subscribe button while you're at it.
Hit that
We know
like
you're
button.
watching. Hit subscribe. Catch us the next time that we go live. This is the last track meet we're doing this summer, but it's more about the friends that we made along the way.
It's provided a lot of great opportunities for athletes, and tonight's been filled with the qualifying element of what we hoped these meets would be. And we see a big field here. You know, they won't actually hit the first barrier. In case you didn't know this, you don't hit the first barrier no matter where it is positioned until you go through the finish line.
Okay.
So no matter where that water jump is on the track, in, out, front, back, you got to make it through the finish before you can jump over a barrier. And so they've got about 250 meters as we see 18
It's a big field.
women on the starting line. So hopefully we can get there smoothly.
Now, I had a conversation earlier in the week with Sean McGordy for an episode of the podcast that comes out next week. And one of the things that he told me is part of the learning curve of the steeplechase is that when a field is this big and people are so bunched up, it's getting in the right position to give yourself enough distance from the person in front of you. What do you remember, I guess, about the, you know, in your experience in the event, just kind of when it's a field this big, what is it you have to be mindful of?
Yeah, you know, those trail legs, mainly,
Yeah.
it's a little different because you're not necessarily, the pros and cons of sitting close on someone, of having the wind block, is kind of outweighed by the fact that you then are putting yourself in high danger and you don't have great visibility. But here, Chris, something we didn't do that we should do real quick is run through the field. So hip 1, Sarah Peace. 2, Laurel Fisher. 3, Alexina Wilson. 4, Dana Klein. 5, Breer Brumley. 6, Rolanda Bell. 7, Annika Sisson. 8, Brianna Nerud. 9, Corinne Fitzgerald. 10, Jessie LaCourse. 11, Katie Kuntz. 12, Kaylee DeLay. 13, Catherine Buchanan. 14, Alicia Douglas. 15, Meredith Rizzo. 16, Eric Tushik. 17, Rebecca Stowe, and 18, Mara Hennelly. As we approach that first water jump of the evening, they're going to have to do this a few times. Up front, that is Alexina Wilson sitting behind our rabbit, and
Lots
Katie
of
Kuntz
splashing.
in second. So they navigate that without too much traffic. That will really wake you up and remind you what you're doing here. So that is Alexina up front, looking strong on the rabbit.
She's got a 9:40.90 personal best from Oxy in 2017.
Now, it's difficult for us to give you exact 400-meter splits.
Because of the barriers and all?
Because of the barriers, each lap is a little bit under 400, and you start, you know, behind the traditional 3K line. But for just reference, those keeping track at home, at 9:30, you're looking for about 74s for that Olympic trials time. And as they approach roughly 800 meters, we'll have our first idea, a glimpse into how they're doing, and it looks like they're 2:28, so we're perfect.
So for Wilson, I believe the last time that she steepled was in 2019 when she ran 10:17 and finished 13th at USA's in the final. She ran a 1,500-meter personal best of 4:11.16 at the Drake Relays. She serves as a coach at the University of Northern Iowa.
Katie Kuntz there in second. We saw her have a breakout race at the Kansas City Qualifier running 9:44. So, you know, you get that in your legs, but even more importantly, you get that in your mind. This idea like, wow, things are starting to click, coming in at the right time of year as well. And for her now, as we're saying, that qualifier is gone. Like, let's start looking bigger. Let's try to chop up chop off as much of those next 14 seconds as possible. So that way you get to the trials and you're not just thinking, I'm happy to be here. You're thinking, I have an opportunity to make the team.
That's right. Which, like, as we spoke about in Kansas City when we did the broadcast there, the women's steeplechase picture is maybe not as locked up as it has been in recent years. Obviously, you've got Emma Coburn and Courtney Frericks as the big 1-2. Colleen Quigley has yet to race. Big announcement this week that she's now sponsored by Lululemon. Leah Fallon, Marissa Howard. These are people who are trending upward at the right time. So that last lap at the Olympic trials is going to be one of the most entertaining ones. We've seen it in recent years. Stephanie Garcia, Leah Fallon, both with close calls in the past. But the big three have kind of remained since 2015. Now, this year, with the new Olympic trials, new people on the rise, I'm excited to see that event and how it shakes out.
And there in third, we haven't mentioned her yet, is Dana Klein, the Yale graduate. She ran a personal best of 9:50 at Kansas City, so a really strong race from her, a nice breakout, and hopefully able to keep the ball rolling. I think what we're seeing right now from Katie is, I think sometimes you see a gap and you assume someone's getting dropped or they can't necessarily be on the leader. It seems like it's a very concerted, intentional effort for her to have that little bit of a gap. You can see that they're running essentially the same exact pace, just Katie is able to see the barrier. She's running her race clean right now. But
now, do you think she's feeding off a little bit of confidence that maybe some of her flat PRs working with Empire Elite might be a little bit faster than the person up in front?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, you're going to look for confidence anywhere you can get it. If you can run a really strong flat 3K or 5K, you obviously like to believe that that converts. Obviously, the ability to be a strong hurdler comes in. How efficient are you? How strong are you? And I think that just from the eye test, these athletes up front are very comfortable getting over the hurdles. And so late in the race, when you would maybe expect some athletes to break down a little bit more, steeple specialists can hold on.
So another person, as we get someone took a tumble there on the barrier.
Those barriers
behind
do
the
not
leaders.
move.
But one person that avoided trouble there was Kaylee DeLay, who won her section of the steeplechase at the Kansas City Qualifier. She ran 9:58, so she's still seeking the U.S. Olympic trial standard. She ran at Yale, I'm pretty sure. Was the women's cross-country captain. And it's funny because this is her second consecutive week contesting a Trials of Miles race. There was a very low-key meet out in Jersey City last weekend, and there was a bunch of photos that came out of it afterwards, and she was in the 1500, won it with like a dive at the finish line. So whatever it takes right now, if she's got her eyes on like 950, she's ready to dive at the finish line, and did it last weekend. So right now I believe she is in almost third place. She's third, fourth right now.
So now as we come up, that is Alexina Wilson still at the front with 2 laps to go. That was a 76-second last lap or so, so pretty consistent as she is slowly starting to pull away from Katie back in second. But again, anything can happen here. The steeplechase is by far one of the most unpredictable events in all of track and field. It can change in a moment, but it seems like Alexina is very comfortable and in control up front right now.
Alexina, I believe, ran a time trial for a 5K back in March. I caught that off of her Instagram while I was doing my research. Ran a 30-second PR, 15:57. So that's one of those flat races that we're saying maybe get that strength, get a little bit of speed that benefits you here in a steeplechase race.
She's very smooth through the water pit. She lands like she's already ready to get out of it. You know, see some people really hit the brakes there. Or, you know, it seems like she was content almost to land a little deeper into the pool but get out fast. As she approaches 400 meters, we just want to remind everyone at home her personal best is 9:40 from 2017. So if she runs another 74-second lap, that is very much within reach, but also that Olympic qualifying time and I did say trials, I meant that Olympic qualifying time is in the conversation. You can hear the PA announcer overhead trying to get the crowd going to help her out.
And I'll tell you, having been on that track earlier, you can learn a lot of what's going on, and it helps you when you hear Dave Alfano, the meet director, on the PA system as the race is going on.
So with just a few barriers to go, 200 meters, 8:54. So very, very much in reach. He does have to get through the water pit, hopefully clean. But that 9:30 mark, we might have to actually see another dive at the finish line.
Yeah. Here we go, over the last barrier, now into the final stretch.
With 100 meters to go, she knows exactly what she needs to do. The big clock at the finish line staring her right in the face.
9:30 is the magic number.
Everyone
for
holds
the
their
Olympics.
breath as she gets over that final hurdle.
Lots of people on their feet in the crowd.
It looks like it's going to be painfully close, but she does run 9:32, a really big breakthrough. But coming up very close behind is Katie Kuntz, who's going to dip under that 9:40 mark herself.
Katie DeLay also as well comes in through there. I believe that was the top 4 might have been well under that Olympic trial standard.
So a very nice race for those athletes. They all had the Olympic trials qualified.
Not all of them. Katie DeLay ran
sorry, yes, Katie DeLay needed that.
9:58, drops down to 9:40 now. Big, big PR for the Yale grad.
Book those tickets to Eugene, Oregon now before the price gets jacked up.
I'm ready to go. I've got my flight. We're both heading out there.
There we are. Really exciting race for them.
Lots of excitement.
Smiles and hugs down on the track.
There's some Ivy League love there.
I think that, you know, the opportunity to go and compete at your first Olympic trials, it's just a really special moment, something that can be shared with anyone in the sport. Everyone understands the gravity of it and what it means. It's a sort of thing that I think transcends beyond the sport. You tell someone that you compete at the Olympic trials, and that's like an immediate stamp of validation.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see. Well, the other thing, too, to kind of keep in mind is that there's still some time for another steeple opportunity. Portland is right around the corner. I think there's going to be a lot of steeplechasers there. So for someone who just barely missed that Olympic standard, that's the place to go get it. Now, if we think big picture, the final at the Olympic trials guaranteed to be fast because we have someone like Colleen Quigley who is yet to run one. But for now, let's throw it down to the track with Ali.
All right, thanks, guys. Amazing win. Congratulations. You just told me, you said, I felt great until the last 2 laps. Tell us all about it. Give us the race breakdown.
So I coach at Northern Iowa, and some of the athletes that I coach, they made my over-under 9:33. So I had to run faster than 9:33.
Okay, so we all thought 9:30 was the number on the clock, but it was 9:33.
Yeah.
So how are they all feeling? Are they all watching this live?
Oh, I mean, maybe, but I'm happy.
It's a Friday night, baby.
First steeple of the season. Ready to get after it at the trials.
Yeah, you look super comfortable, super smooth. Steeplechase is just absolutely unrelenting. Do you ever just want to like skip one?
Yeah,
Do you ever
I
just
mean,
wanna
I
run
like
around?
the 1500, but I'm better at the steeple, so
yeah,
I'll be doing that longer.
All right, well, amazing race. Congratulations. What's next?
I will go to the Portland Track Fest and run a 1500, and then steeple again at Stumptown.
All right, you see me. You're like 1500 and a
I'm so
steeple
excited.
again. All right, well, good luck. Congratulations. So great seeing you tonight.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
A great women's steeplechase race right there for you. Again, that's going to be one of the must-watch races at the Olympic trials. Coming up next, we've got the men's steeplechase presented by Hayward Magic. Now, take a second, everyone, because I want you to take out your phones and follow at Hayward Magic on Instagram right now, because what they are is a new voice in track and field. We've got a pretty stacked calendar coming up. at the new Hayward Field. We've got the U.S. Olympic trials in just a couple weeks. We've got the World Championships there next year. So let's take that magic from Hayward Field, the one that everyone is very familiar with, and spread it across the sport. At Hayward Magic is kind of I'd call him a new voice, new outlet for the sport. When we look around, we see Runner Space, Flow Track, CITIUS Mag. Everyone's got a different sort of flair. Hayward Magic is here to provide a new one. It's part of the reason why I started CITIUS a couple of years back. It's just everyone's got different tastes and different styles. Hayward Magic is a new one. We've got a video that we'll share very shortly for you guys to get a glimpse of what Hayward Magic might be. But check them out on Instagram right now.
I can't wait to see the new Hayward.
We booked our travel this week.
We did book our travel. We booked our travel and we found our way into the stadium somehow.
Got my credential approved today. I'll be inside the stadium firing off some tweets.
So in the men's steeplechase, I see him right there. Travis Mahoney, hit number 2 from Hoka. I'm really excited to see how he does tonight. This is his first steeple in a very long time. I obviously spent some years training with Travis. I know how good a shape he was in last summer and just never really got the opportunity to hop in, although he did run an extremely impressive 2K time trial in practice, not over hurdles. I think we ran 4:59 or 5 flat, if I remember correctly, for a 2K. So he was fit last summer, and just there were no steeple opportunities.
Yeah.
There, quite frankly, the reason why we were doing time trials in practice is because there weren't many opportunities. So really excited to see him tonight in his premier event.
You know who I'm super curious about is our good friend Daniel Wynn in this one, because this is his first ever steeple race. He fired off a very funny
I have
tweet
to read it. An absolutely
today.
insane tweet for him to put out into the world.
They gave him hip number 12, so he's all the way on the outside because he doesn't have a PR in this race.
He said the steeplechase is the perfect metaphor for life. When things get tough, switch to an easier event, and I will gladly revisit that probably in 9 minutes. And the men's steeplechase, hip 1, Evan Verbal, 2, Travis Mahoney, 3, Johannes Machman, 4, Ricardo Estremera, 5, Brian Schrader, 6, Jean-Simon Desgagne, 7, Mike Leet, 8, James Quattlebaum, 9, Jordan Mann, 10, Jackson Saylor, 11, Brandon Doughty, 12, Daniel Wynn, and our 13th was a scratch. So that is Travis Mahoney up front immediately, showing veteran, that veteran status by taking control of the race, and sitting on him is Michael Leet, training out of Illinois, and he used to run with the New Jersey New York Track Club back in the day. And then in hip number, I believe that is 11, the Under Armour singlet, that is Brandon Doughty.
So Brandon Doughty, someone to watch here because this is his first race in 1,061 days. He put that out on Instagram. Last race was the 2018 U.S. Steeplechase Final. He ran 8:40.12 for 13th place. At that point, I believe he was training with the Zap Fitness crew down in North Carolina. There's a little stumble there by Daniel Wynn in the back. But I'm excited to see what Brandon has in this race, just because, it's been a long comeback from injury. He's moved to Flagstaff, and now he's training with Dark Sky Distance and Coach Stephen Haas.
That is a huge testament of just resilience and persistence. I think a lot of people wouldn't necessarily be willing to go that long without a race, especially through some of those injuries that I'm sure he suffered in that time. So hopefully he can get a good one in tonight with that Dark Sky singlet, and we're definitely rooting for him up here. As Travis Mahoney continues to lead from the front, attacking the hurdles very, very strong. Another athlete that we see doing that, again, the red singlet behind him, is Michael Leet. These are steeple specialists. They know what they're doing.
Leet's personal best is 8:39.25 from Nashville back in June 2018.
In third is Johannes Machman from Germany. He actually just ran 8:16 in Germany. That was a flat 3K.
Yeah, at their German national championship.
I was going to say, that's faster than his PR.
Yeah.
His personal best is 8:33.
He competed at the Texas Qualifier. I don't know if you remember this. He came up to us the day before the meet and had some nice words for you, because I guess like he shot you a DM back in the day.
Yeah, I've been known to get some DMs, and it's great to see that he's up front leading as they come through roughly 1K in 2:52. For some perspective, that's roughly low 8:30 pace. And he's looking strong up front. Travis got the race going, but looks happy to have relinquished the lead and be able to tuck in and reattach. And just behind him and hit number 6, I'm going to hopefully say this name correct. I wish David was here for my French Canadians. There's Jean-Simon Desgagne.
That sounds right to me. This is his first race of the year. Last year, he clocked a 1,500-meter personal best of 3:41 and 8 flat for the 3K. He's run 13:54 for 5K at the track meet, but he actually hasn't steepled since he finished 4th at the 2019 Canadian National Championships. So very interested to see what he's got in store here today.
Looking very strong right now up front, as we keep an eye on the clock there. And that lap was about a 67 to come through 4 flat with 5 laps to go. Sorry, 4 laps to go. That was not changed at the finish line. So we see a pack of or a string of 7 athletes on the train following Johannes's moves up front. Michael Leet reasserting himself to the front.
Leet's personal best, 8:39.25 from Nashville, June 2018. He ran 8:44 for the win at a low-key meet in Louisville. Went to college at Lewis.
It is just like in horse racing. You know, you really got to put some weight into the athletes that are winning races, especially when we haven't yet seen them in some bigger fields with competition quite like this. So I think Michael winning that early race, indicative that there's more left in the tank. And with 3 laps to go, they approach that finish line. See 5:10 on the clock. So again, once again, extrapolating a little bit, if they run 67s for the next 3 laps, they're going to be 8:31. That Olympic trials qualifying time is 8:32, and the Olympic standard is 8:22. So well on pace right now for an 8:32. Travis has found himself getting back up, reattaching to that new swift pace that Leet is setting at the front. And for those wondering, keeping tabs on how Daniel Wynn is doing, it doesn't seem like it's as easy an event as he maybe tweeted about.
Yeah, he texted me. He's like, you know what? Maybe I hit a home run in my first shot when I saw him on the entry list about a week ago. And I guess like it's tough out there.
It is not an easy event by any means.
We can't all be Sean McGordy and nail it on the first try.
And we have a great race unfolding. 6:18 with 2 laps to go. Jean-Simon is now taking the lead back for Michael Leet. Travis is there. And then the man who we have not seen in 1,061 days, Brandon Doty, is on the screen.
Don't sleep on Doty.
There's been a lot of yo-yoing, a lot of pace or race leading changing. You see people really falling behind and then reappearing all of a sudden, like Houdini.
From kind of your experience training with Travis, is this a race right now that, like the way it is, we've still got a little bit to go? Is he in a good position and is he suited for these pace changes that keep happening?
Yeah, I don't want to speak too confidently, but this is what Travis does, and I feel really good about his odds right now. He generally lags right before the kick, and if he can just stay attached and kind of get those juices flowing, let the adrenaline take over, and once you can kind of sniff the finish line, then Travis really wakes up and the competitive nature takes over as they, with 1 lap to go, seem to be having that 7:25 on the clock
Travis Mahoney always in the mix. 2019, great year for him here in the mile indoors, 3K indoors, 5K indoors. Ran 13:35, finished second at BU, which I believe was like number 29 U.S. indoors at the time.
And look, there's little things going on right here. Travis doesn't want to lose to Michael Lee. They trained together. They were friends. Michael was asking Travis for advice when both on NJNY. So this is something of a matter of pride for Travis. This is more than just winning a race right now. But the person who might upset it all right now is John Simon. As they come to the final water barrier, all three are there. Michael Lee making a tough inside pass. John Simon
with one barrier to go.
Michael Lee seems to have another gear, and Brandon Doty gets over that final barrier. Great.
Oh, Doty with some closing speed, but he's not going to have
John
enough room.
Simon got over that final barrier clean, and they all dip under 8:30. Oh, we're going to see some big smiles from Michael Lee down there, getting that Olympic Trials qualifier.
Big time for him.
And a nice personal best for him.
Lee, previous personal best, 8:39. Takes 10 seconds off, 8:29 here tonight. Doty, under 8:30, 8:29 in his first race in 1,061 days.
That is really awesome to see. John Simon just missed. He tied in 8:29 of what he has done just a couple of years ago. But I think the feel-good story right now is Brandon Doty. As Daniel Wynn comes to the finish line, 9:11, just outside my personal best of 9:01. Daniel outkicked me at the 2016 Olympic Trials in the 1500, so I'm going to take this win that I get right now, and I'll give him a hard time tonight.
Doty looks pumped, too.
Doty should be very pumped. You know, Stephen Haas.
He's not here, then he's at home watching.
He's in Gateshead getting ready for the Diamond League. You know that he's so pumped. Brandon Doty really has been through hell to get to this moment, and he qualifying for the Olympic trials, really, really special. That is awesome, really. This is a night of qualifying. We had some tough races at points in Austin and in Kansas, but
tonight we got dealt perfect weather, and people are showing up.
Imagine not being able to break 5 on a night like this.
I don't have to imagine it. I just checked my Twitter notifications for the first time all night, and yeah, it's a little bit of a dumpster fire there.
Delete your account.
I might have to.
Well,
you know what? I've exercised my rematch clause.
This was, I believe, his first race of the year.
Yeah. Opening up with a banger. And Ali gives us a sign that she's ready down on the track.
That's the thumbs up for you guys. All right, that finish was crazy. How did you feel? Break down that last 100 meters for us. Confident? Worried about the other guys passing you? How'd you feel?
Kind of all of the above. Like the guys were coming, but I'm glad they were coming because I know we could challenge each other. And like the race was a bit slow, but then I went in front for that 800. Know the guys were coming in, and yeah, it was perfect. Yeah.
So which do you prefer? Would you rather have a race where you've got it, you know you've got the win, no one's near you, or is that a little more fun when you've got to work for it?
It's definitely more fun racing people than knowing you got the win. And even on this race, I had to take the front at some point, but I really like just sitting in the pack and waiting. But sometimes you got to do this, and it works. Yeah.
What was your goal for today's race? Obviously, we know you got the win. We know you came in under that very critical mark. So what was your goal for today?
I'll set a PB, so a PR, sorry, and then so my PR was 8:29. I think I reran 8:29 the exact same time, but still, it was my season opener, and yeah, really happy with it. But I want to go a bit faster, and I know it's gonna come in the other race.
So I have to ask, there was a lot of great hair in that race.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else noticed, but a lot of great hair. What's your secret to this beautiful hair? Deep conditioning? What are we doing?
I guess it's all of them, so washing them, conditioning, but it's like, I don't know, it's kind of a trademark, and I like them. I just cut them, but they were way longer before, but yeah, thank you.
Well, it's great, and it paid off. Maybe
yeah, it paid
a
off.
little extra speed today. So what's next?
So I'm going to race Portland Track Festival. Right after this, hope it's going to go fast again, and I think I'm ready for anything.
popular
Yeah.
answer. Half the fields tonight are going to Portland, the other half are going up to Boston. Congratulations. Thanks for being here with
Thanks
us.
a lot. Thanks for hosting this meet. It's perfect. Thank you.
It's pretty perfect.
Yeah.
Back to you guys.
If you still have him, how do you say his last name?
Well,
I'm
one person
gonna
I definitely
find
want to
him
hear.
later.
One person I want to
Jean-Simon.
hear about right now, which I just saw meet director Cooper
we
Knowlton
got
just
Brandon
snagged.
Doty.
I want to hear from
yes.
Doty. This is his first race in more than 1,000 days. This has to be a really sweet moment. To dip under 8:30 after a long string of injuries. Let's hear from him real quick.
Hear me? There we go. All right, first race in 3 years. That's quite the Band-Aid you're ripping off there. How'd it feel?
Honestly, pretty good considering. I'm just super grateful to be out here. I got a whole new attitude about running, and man, it just feels good to be under the lights again. It really
All right,
does.
tell us about that attitude. What's the new attitude?
Just enjoying the moment, not obsessing over bad workouts or how many miles I'm running a week, just gratitude, enjoyment. I used to be a real type A kind of runner, and now I'm just here soaking it all up.
Okay, I would guess that a lot of people watching this are also type A runners. Give us some advice. How do we get out of that, and how do we adopt the Doty mentality?
And I think type A is kind of how you get to the professional runner status, and then you kind of got to start letting it go. You got to realize that you're talented, and it's not all hard work that got you there. A little bit of both. For me, it's a lot of meditation, 20 minutes a day, just being still, enjoying the breeze, enjoying the crunching of leaves, just a little bit of everything, and just living in the moment. That's it.
You seem so happy. Was that fun? Are you
It was
happy?
so fun. Oh, it was so fun. Just competing and grinding. And I got to thank some of those guys that took the race, because I might have finished right behind the guy who won, but I never took a lap. So I didn't help at all. So I'm just happy to be out here and pumped that they took the race out and dragged me to the standard. So
I love it. Well, congratulations. We are so happy to see you. We look forward to what's next. Have a great night. I hope you're going to celebrate.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Back to you guys.
So we've got the women's 5K underway right now. We've got, I believe, let's see, 3, 6, 7, 8. Smaller field. 8 women here. I'll run through them really quick. We got Jocelyn Brea, Brenda Munoz-Flores, Mackenzie Caldwell, Alexandra Hayes, Veronica Eater, Eileen Barry, Caitlin Donner, Emily De La Bruyere, and Lucy Beatrix. Small field, but let's see how fast they can get going here. I'm joined in the booth for this race by a special guest, someone who's already snagged the OTQ in this event. We've got the one and only host of the More Than Running podcast on the CITIUS Mag Podcast Network, Dana Giordano. Dana, how are you?
I'm good. It's so funny watching the 5K, watching Leanne Farber take it out on a pace job right after the 1500 and, not be out there.
Yeah, so what in particular, I guess, about why'd you choose the 1500 tonight as opposed to the 5K? I know you're racing in just a couple days in Boston, right?
Yeah, I'm actually racing on Sunday at the Boost Games. So 1500s are a good way to kickstart the season, get the speed back into the legs before championship season. 5Ks are a grind, and it's definitely a different feeling. So it's good to recognize those different paces when you start to race some serious competition.
So up in front in this one right now, we've got Brenda Flores Munoz, who's got a personal best of 15:30 set back in 2014. She was a 2-time gold medalist for Mexico at the 2014 Central American and Caribbean Games, a silver medalist at the 2015 Pan Am Games, and represented the Americas at the 2014 IAAF Continental Cup. She was she's also an Olympian. Was 32nd in the 10K back in Rio.
And it looks like we just went through that 800 in 2:28.
So the Olympic trial standard for this one is 15:20. Tell us, I guess, Dana, when you ran that under that back in December, how does that actually sort of feel? Like, what mentally are you? How do you sort of think? You leave some responsibility to the pacer, but as you're trying to kind of click off, you've got a final number in your mind. What are you thinking about as you're kind of going along in the race?
Yeah, all these women are really just trying to stay as relaxed as possible through 3K. They can all run a really strong 3K. They usually say you add about 15 seconds. So you added that extra 6 minutes and then some 15 seconds on to do an estimate. So these women should be trying to come through somewhere around 9:10 for the 3K if they're trying to go for the U.S. trial standard, and around 9:05 if they're going for that Olympic A, and cut down.
Yeah, so the Olympic standard is 15:10 flat, which is what Brenda up in front might have her mind since she represents Mexico.
And she's probably going to have to do some work. I don't know how far Leanne Farber is staying in this pace job, but if she's going to do it, she's going to have to earn it the hard way. So hopefully after Leanne steps off, we can see some trading back and forth between the two right behind her.
I'm trying to see who's that right behind her since I don't have my heat sheet in front of me.
And they're looking smooth as possible. The key to the 5K is get through that 3K as smooth as possible, because it's going to start to hurt. They're in the very early stages of this race, but we have A-plus 5K conditions right now. The wind has completely died down.
The wind affected me a little bit in that mile earlier tonight. Was it a thing in your 1500?
In the 1500, there's not enough time to think about the wind. You're just trying to go as hard as you can. So it really was not an issue at all. And we really got a spectacular night out here in Icahn Stadium.
Come on, you're supposed to back me up and say, yeah, the wind was a bad...
It could have been earlier.
It could have been, yeah.
As soon as, I always said, as soon as the sun starts to go down, the wind changes.
I was just looking for an
race.
excuse.
I don't even know the results.
Oh, I tanked. Don't worry about it. Gladwell got me good.
Oh, man. Rematch.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. So right behind Brenda is Veronica Eater. She's got a personal best of 16:55 from Auburn back in April 2017.
And that was a 4:59 through the mile right there. That is kind of exactly what they want to be right now. So they're just clicking off. That might be actually a little bit slow depending on what they're going for, especially our athlete from Mexico. So, you know, it's hard to tell this time of year, especially if you already have the standard, if you're gearing up for the games versus the U.S. trials. We've had so much focus on the U.S. trials. There are some athletes that are just really kicking off their season for a long racing in the season in the summer.
Right, and the selection process varies from country to country. So in Brenda's case, she might just be looking for a good enough time that puts her on the radar for the selection. Laura Galvin, who's raced at multiple of these races, has really set the bar high for Mexico in the 5K right now.
And the way that the qualifying standard is going this year, there is one way that you can qualify, which is an average of times if you don't get that Olympic A. It's a little bit confusing, but there are some athletes that are just trying to go out and race as much as possible, and it's an aggregate of about 5 times. So
for the world ranking.
For the world rankings. So that's a whole long story that maybe it's better for a 10K than a 5K, but oh, it looks like Leanne Farber just stepped off at 2K, so that was 2K around, looks like 6:19.
Mentally is having to do a lot of work for 3K. Like, I don't know, is it something you just don't really look forward to? Because, like, would you have wanted Leanne to go a little bit further?
Definitely. I mean, Leanne's a trooper for coming back right after that 1500. If that was a 6:19, which, you know, I might be a little off there, that's around 1540 pace. So this could be a real grind. And we'll see on the next lap if they start to really pick it up. But, you know, you'd rather be behind than leading right now. It's about to be a grind. And Eater's doing a good job just keeping her eyes up straight on Flores Muniz there.
So Veronica Eater has only raced indoors in 2021. Last year, I believe I saw a result for her in the 10K where she ran 33:35.
This could be a huge PB for her.
Yeah.
She sticks with this. You know, a PB of
probably maybe a whole minute.
16:55 from April 2017. So you don't know what she's done between then. You don't know if she's been time trialing. What I hope happens here is she goes around and does some work so we don't leave Flores Muniz doing everything. And it kind of looks like what might be able to happen here. She's really coming up on her. So maybe she's going to step around and say, hey, I'm going to take a few laps. Not going to leave you out there. We both want to run fast tonight. We got some good jams in the stadium.
Yeah, and you can hear them pretty well, like when you're down there.
I had blinded by the lights going on, and I definitely heard it in the race.
I should have just like found whoever's DJing and like really got me amped. I was like, all right, give me Levels by Avicii for the first couple laps. I obviously need probably like 2 songs in order to get through my race.
And these women are approaching, you know, they're over halfway right now, so this is where it really starts to burn. Let's hope Flores Muniz holds on. There's a little bit of separation. Once we get to that 200 at the top, that'll be about 400 away from our 3K split. So we're going to make sure that we grab that one. And the rest of the field is pretty strung out. I don't know what you guys at home can see on camera, but you know, there's people all around the track, so maybe there might be some opportunity to catch someone on the backside and pull you forward. That always helps.
So how are you? I've asked this, I think, at every single broadcast that we've done. The courtesy move of, you know, sharing the laps. You know, how do you sort of approach that? Knowing, and what would be the sort of like the last lap you would want to not be in the lead so that you could save a little bit of a kick? Because what we saw in Texas was Mason Furlick never led, and then ended up winning the 5K, and I was like, oh man, you probably didn't make any friends with the other guys.
You know, this is a controversial opinion, but we're here for some hot takes. I think, you know, they were waving him for to go around. Mason felt good. Mason obviously wanted the qualifying time, but it's not the respectful thing to do as far as the racing goes. You know, Robin is racing, and I think they all could have run faster if he went around.
Okay,
you know,
you heard it here. I think Mason's probably tuned in right now watching from Ann Arbor.
You know, and Mason got what he wanted.
Yeah.
He got his time. He got that. Mason.
Sometimes running's a selfish sport.
It is a selfish sport in a way, but, you know, it's hard when you kick past in the last 50 and you did nothing.
So wait, what is the last lap you would want to lead? Like maybe 2 to go, 3 to go, and then from there you'd let someone else and save for a kick?
At the Sound Running meet that I ran in December, we didn't have a pacer, so I was in it with a couple women from Bowerman, Emily Lapari, and they were kind of trading off, and I was being the leech. But, you know, my time was really off their PB.
Yeah.
So I think there's kind of also a courtesy there, like, are your personal best close to each other? And if they are, you should do some work. So maybe that was in Mason's case, that his was, you know, far behind theirs, and he was surprised to be there, too. You never know.
Yeah.
So the last
now there's a little bit of a gap forming.
Yeah, she's really been opening up out here. This could be a huge PR for her. We missed the 3K split. Handedly.
Yeah. And I believe, is that a 3rd place runner closing it, or was that a lapped runner?
Well, we got a mile to go here. 4 laps on the clock, so this is where it starts to get really hard.
Veronica Eater is your leader right now. 16:55 personal best. That is looking like it's going to be a thing of the past.
And, you know, I think that trading off lead is definitely different when you've got a big pack.
Yeah.
You know, when you don't know what your personal bests are, but when you have a big pack of working together, you can handle. It's definitely different in a 10K as well. But this is some strong running out front. I think she's really going to open up on these next 4 laps.
How are you sort of, you know, less than a month ago now, feeling towards the trials and sort of like the 5K situation? That's where you have the standard. Are your chips somewhat right now in that basket, or are you still, you know, going to try and race a couple more 1500s to try and snag that one?
I've got a 1500 next weekend.
Okay.
And
in Boston?
In Boston, which is going to be some stacked heels. We got a pretty, I can't reveal who it is, but a pretty stellar pacer. So we're going to have all the fields we pace to perfection. So, you know, as we're leading in, a lot of people are sharp from racing. The collegiates have been racing a lot. The pros have not been racing a lot. So there's still time. I know it's close, but there's still time. As we're coming up on 3 laps to go, keep an eye on that clock. We're going through in 12:10 with 3 laps to go. So if she goes in a 3-minute K, she could get the Olympic A standard.
Yeah. U.S. Olympic trial standard, 15:20. Olympic standard, 15:10.
And, you know, she's doing some strong running. It's kind of hard to tell the pace, but if she does run a 3:10K, that would be close to the U.S. trial standard.
So really picked it up, I guess, like on her own in these last couple laps.
And it looks like our 2nd place runner found someone to run with, and she's getting a little bit almost overtaken now in that back stretch.
I'll try and get a hip number on that runner.
And our front runner's really gritting. This is where it gets tough. These 3 laps to go. I have to say, this 3rd lap to go, the 2nd lap to go, those are definitely the hardest. All right, we got 3 on the clock.
I just got a text from someone who informed me that Veronica Eder has run close to 16 flat. She ran like 16:15-ish about 2 weeks ago.
All right, well.
Thanks to Denise Mazzio for that tip.
You know, she's just really got to hold on here. You can see in her face, she got to try to relax the face. This is something that I do as well. And, you know, when you've got that less experience in the 5K, you see that those killer 5K women, they stay as relaxed as possible and really open up over the last 2 laps.
She's going to the arms already. That just might be her typical form here.
You know, I always say that the arms break down first, but really look at the legs. Is her stride shortening or is she holding on? No, she's in a lot of pain right now, but she looks very determined and dedicated. And we're really going to have a better understanding of what pace she's running as we get to 800 to go. And she's on the straightaway right now, so we're about to get that for you guys. We got 2 laps to go at about 14:29. So if she ran 2 flat, it'd be around 16:30.
That's a big ask.
All right, so we'll see. So they went out pretty hot, you know.
Yeah.
I think we have to respect the athletes that go for it. You know, as someone who's racing tonight, I didn't see how the races went, but you got to respect people who go for it and get after it. And there hasn't been a lot of racing this year, so big thanks to Trials and Miles to putting on these safe opportunities.
So in second place now is Caitlin Donner. She's got a personal best of 16:15 from Jacksonville that she set back in April. She's also run a half marathon of 78 second half marathon early this year.
Some minutes on there.
Let's see what else we got on her in my notes. Ran at the U.S. Championships and finished 22nd place.
And Veronica is gritting. She's coming down 500 meters to go.
Closing hard in second place, Caitlin Donner as well. But maybe if this race was another lap or 2 longer, she would have got her. But it is all Veronica Eder. Wins in 16:03, big personal best for her. Second place, Donner in 16:10.
And she really closed hard.
Former Gator. She's a professional triathlete, actually. I just got a message right now.
And Flores,
JC.
she came through 16:21, definitely faded towards the end, but held on for some strong racing. Eder looks like she really wanted to break 16 minutes.
Sub 16, it's a big deal.
Yeah, some sub 17 performances. Emily De La Briere coming through. It's so fun to see people who have been on the circuit for a while. The New York City running scene showing up tonight. And Eder did a lot of the work out there.
Eileen Berry in 16:36. De La Briere just behind her. And as we wait on our final runner to cross the finish line here, then we'll hit Ali on the sidelines very shortly.
A lot of respect for you guys up here. Calling the shots. Keeping the fans entertained.
I had to rush back up here after my race. But Ali looks to be ready. Down at the sidelines. Ali, over to you.
Veronica, congratulations. You were doing a lot of work out there. How do you feel?
I feel great about the win. I was a little disappointed because I wanted to break 16, but it felt great to get back out there, yeah.
All right, so what's your preferred way to do a race like that and to execute? Were you happy to be out there flying solo for a while, or would you have liked to be in a bit of a tighter pack out there?
You know, I was looking forward to a tighter pack, but sometimes it's good to just, try to pace. I mean, I slowed down, so only so much you can do when you're tired and you're out there by yourself. I think having people would have helped a lot, yeah.
When did it feel hard?
Ooh, probably 8 laps in about, yeah. Six to go, that's like the breaking point.
All right, walk me through that last 400 meters when you're seeing the number on the clock and you see 16 minutes kind of staring you down.
Yeah.
What was going through your head?
Well, I knew that I had to run like 72 or 73, and that was going to be tough. So I just said faster, and, I just didn't have it today, but next time I hope, yeah.
Well, big personal best. Congratulations. Always a good day when you've got the win.
It's amazing. I love it out here.
Me too. Happy to have you here. What's next?
To be determined. I think the Music City Distance Festival, yeah, that's kind of what I'm aiming for.
What's for dinner?
Ooh, Mexican food. Yeah, definitely.
Great plan. Great plan. Yeah. Awesome. Well, enjoy. Congratulations. Thanks so much for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thanks.
All right, we'll have Dana sign off in just a second. Dana, thank you so much for joining us here on the broadcast.
Thanks so much, guys. Good to be here.
All right, and just before this race rolls, we want to give another shout out to their sponsor at Hayward Magic.
Hayward Magic 2.0 Simulator. Check your guts. New PR. Morgan. New PR. Morgan.
That was awesome, but we just missed the start.
Just a second or two.
Just a second. You know what happened, but
So
that was a cool claymation video.
That's Hayward Magic, a different voice in the sport. Young voices, they're just taking the magic of Hayward Field to elevate the sport and its athletes. Check them out on Instagram right now.
And then the men's 5K goes off. Hip 1, Brendan Martin. 2, Eric Jenkins. 3, Liam D. 4, Jack McGowan. 5, Connor Black. 6, Carlos Diaz. 7, Patricio Castillo. 8, Darius Terry. 9, Michael Brannigan. 10, Ryan Kutch. 11, Luis Alvaro Abreu. 12, Fernando Ojeda. 13, Mike Tate. 14, Paul Hogan. 15, Tom Stafford. And 16, Jack Shea. As they approach the 400-meter mark, it looks like they are going to be 64.5 seconds. Joe Stillen sitting in second behind the Rabbit. And this race is brought to us by Finish Line Physical Therapy here in New York City. Personally, I've been going there for many, many years. Super helpful. One of the athletes in this race, Brendan Martin, who I'm sure we're going to see more of later in the race, is actually my PT and also college teammate, high school rival, and very good friend, and has always taken great care of me there. Tons of toys to help you stay healthy and fit, and meet director Dave is, of course, a PT there as well. So if you're here in the New York area, check them out. And we are super strung out behind the Rabbit. You see Joe Stillen here, who I did not see on the start list, but I think he's competing. Is he our second Rabbit? And then behind him is a familiar face from just earlier this evening, Eric Jenkins, doubling back from the 1500, where I believe he ran 3:41 as they approach 800 meters in about 2:09.
I'll tell you what, I just got up for a second to just clear my throat after a little bit of track hack, but the atmosphere here is unreal. If you could see the fans we have in the stands, it definitely surpassed the 400 tickets. We were allowed 800. I could say, I think it's fairly close to that right now.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a party atmosphere out here. A lot of people excited to see old friends that maybe they haven't in a while. As we come through 1K in about 2:42, I think I saw. So, you know, an honest pace, nothing too crazy. That is a 13:30 5K pace. And so something well within the capabilities of the race favorite, Eric Jenkins, who can probably run this pace for 10K right now, although with 1,500 in his legs, it might not be that easy. And at 1,200 meters, we're 3:14.
Kyle, this is our last race that we're calling together.
Hopefully ever.
Have the emotions settled in yet?
No, I'm okay.
Oh, I might get a little tearful on the sign-off.
And behind Eric Jenkins, I recognize him. That is Mike Tate, an athlete that is no stranger to some brave running. I've always seen him in the front of the races, pushing the pace. Canadian. His personal best is 13:34 from Stanford a few years ago. But this is his season opener here tonight. I'm really interested to see how he does. He's a strong runner, really. Also has had a lot of success in cross country throughout his career. And
first time we're seeing him outdoors in a while. This is his first outdoor race since 2019. Last year he ran 13:41 indoors out at UW. He's a 3:42 guy for 1,500. And if you want to go up in distance, then he's a 29:09 guy for 10K.
And then hip number 6 there behind him is Carlos Diaz. He has a personal best of 13:36. He's a Chilean runner, and he was a bronze medalist at the Pan Am Games just a couple years ago. So keeping a close eye on him. He's someone who, you know, hopefully will be looking at not just the Olympic standard, which is 13:13.5, but also rankings, someone that could potentially come into play there. And the Rabbits up front are doing an excellent job. You can tell just by the way that they're strung out. No one's running a step over 5K right now. This is exactly where they want to be. You want your mind to be completely in a different world. You want to wake up and just have a couple K to go. And Eric, you know, someone who I think we're going to expect to potentially see a double at the Olympic trials, both in, you would expect maybe the 5 and the 10K. I think the idea of coming here and doing a 1,500 and a 5K both in one night is just a big sharpening effort all at once. If you're going to taper off what I'm sure many 100-mile weeks for him, then you want to make the most of it, get that race experience, get those calves used to being in spikes. And, you know, I think running a 5K after 1,500 is probably a pretty good way to replicate what it's going to feel like that second 5K of a 10K.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, how does this set you up for the trials?
And I think for Eric, it's going to set him up really well. We did see him run a great 10K earlier this year to win over a star-studded field out in California. And then I would imagine, Chris, we were talking offline earlier about what he would have been doing since then, and I think he probably took a long break at some point this winter, started building back up, and has been racing every few weeks, every month or so, just on tired legs, and you just have to put in the miles at some point. You don't see 10K runners racing quite as much as you would expect a 1,500 runner to.
Well, you also have to figure that in practice, working with Coach Pete Julian's group, that he's getting pulled in all sorts of directions, training with Craig Engels one day.
I have a feeling he's pulling Craig, but...
And then hopping into some reps maybe with Donovan Brazier. And so the way Pete Julian operates, you know, he's kind of mixing and matching and gets creative. And sometimes, you know, when they have a kick at the very end, that's what that work ends up, you know, paying off for.
Yeah, I think something that Eric is known for is having a really strong finishing kick, despite, like we saw him run 341 today, but that's not him at his absolute best.
No.
He's probably in heavy training block, as we noted, but he's run 335. And we've seen him since his days at Northeastern and then Oregon, that his ability to close off of a fast pace is really quite astounding. He has that ability to still shift gears even when it seems like there shouldn't be any left.
Yeah, at Oregon, he was taken at Chavez in practice multiple times.
And as the rabbit steps off, you can see that they just started to slow a hair, and now it's going to be up to Eric to kind of start controlling things. Hip number 8 there, that is Darius Terry. He has a personal best of 13:47. And, it's not his first 5K this season. He did run 13:53 earlier in the year. But, again, we don't have this in our notes. I think he's an ASU guy back in the day. And they come through 3K in 8:09. So, again, really setting up well for that sub 13:30.
Yep, you're correct.
You just
Arizona
Googled
State.
it. I know a lot about track and field. But something just happened when we just blinked for 1 second, and it looks like Eric Jenkins has decided to step off the track 3K in.
Maybe a little bit of a workout.
I think at this point, why risk it? You have the time. If maybe it was just a workout. I know earlier in the evening he thought about potentially doing the whole 5K, but instead these guys got to get a little bit of help, him string it out. But now it is Carlos Diaz up front, and he's starting to put a step on Darius there.
13:36 personal best set in Castellón in 2019. From Chile, we had a couple viewers from Chile in the Kansas City Qualifier because they had a couple athletes at that meet. Pan American Games bronze medalist back in 2019, was 6th at the 2012 World Junior Championships. So let's see if he can start to make his move here.
And
put a little bit of a gap on Terry.
I believe behind Terry that is Thomas Fafford. And he ran a 13:57 5K earlier this year. And so if he holds this, we're looking at a huge breakthrough from him because he is way ahead of that pace right now. And he looks comfortable. He looks like he's just keying off Darius, trying to stare at the back, get lost. And right now we're starting to see Diaz pull away. He's very comfortable at the moment. But these guys behind him are on their way to having some major breakthroughs. It's very comfortable 5K weather here this evening. The flags are not blowing at all. I could have a light sweater on. It would be nice if I did. But they are now approaching 3 laps to go. And the clock is 10:20. So a couple 63s would see a sub 13:30, something that is very much within these athletes' potential. It's definitely going to be difficult for Carlos Diaz to do that alone up front now. But all of a sudden, Thomas Farfard just makes a huge move, as unfortunately it looks like Darius Terry stepped off the track.
Big gap.
But Chris, it does look like Farfard, and I hope I'm saying that name correctly, it looks like he is looking up and has his eyes on Diaz. He has not given up yet on hopefully reattaching. This is uncharted territory for him. He's in the middle of recalibrating his mind. He was a 13:57 guy coming into this race, and now all of a sudden he's looking at himself as a 13:40 guy. And I think every time he looks at the clock, starts calculating those splits, he's going to be gaining momentum and putting some confidence into his arsenal. And with 2 laps to go, it's 11:33 for him, and it was about 11:27, I believe.
We got a quick shot there of the chase pack. There's a bunch of guys there working together. I'm guessing that's the sub 14 train.
Yeah, that's the sub 14 train. You can see it right there. They seem like they're well within reach of that, because with 680 meters to go, we're now at 12 minutes. But it is all Diaz up front right now. It doesn't look like Thomas is going to be able to reattach, because Diaz is showing no signs of weakness. He is only building momentum right now. As Red Hot Chili Peppers blast in the background, and we actually have some fans down close into the outside lanes cheering him on.
I'm going to try and do some really quick research here and see what is the current world leading time, Chilean national leading time.
We are 12:33 with 400 meters to go. Fafard is coming up now at 12:41, but we have two athletes just behind him, one of which is Mike Tate, and I did not get an eye on the athlete running with him, but they are coming, and as they start to work together, they're going to roll down this mountain with picking up steam. They look great right now, and they are definitely not catching Diaz, who with 200 meters to go sees 13:05 on the clock, but we do have a race starting to unfold for second place. Carlos Diaz takes a quick peek over his shoulder, but he knows it's going to be all him. A reminder, his personal best is 13:36. So it is going to be extremely close whether or not he can get that.
The current top time from a runner from Chile is Carlos Martin Diaz del Rio, 13:39. So, hey, he's going to be the top Chilean 5K guy now.
And Thomas Fafard, 13:42. Tate, 43:44. Huge breakthrough. I think that was Ryan Kutch as well with a big personal best.
We're getting all these guys under 14. Oh, and so close for Brendan Martin.
My physical, my PT, physical trainer, coming in now, 14:07 for Brendan Martin. He's getting married next weekend.
Oh, wow. Congrats to him.
So Diaz knocking off just a hair off his personal best. Fafard taking off 15 seconds. Mikey Brannigan now coming in 14:19, just a little bit outside, but we're going to hopefully be seeing him again later this summer in Tokyo as he goes to defend his Paralympic gold medals. Liam D, 13:46. That is a huge personal best. Previously, it was 14:04 from 2016. So the former Iona athlete having a great race here. The banter's good on the track. Everyone's really happy with their performances. Some big breakthroughs. Chris, if you want to go back down on the track and run one more mile right now.
I don't think I have it. I'd fail to break 8.
Big performances all around. And this was a really exciting, what was it, hour and a half, 2 hours of track and field? We saw a lot of great performances.
3+ hours.
That's true. I guess
Time
the main
flies.
show is 2 hours.
Yep.
And they're taking a nap. They're laying down. They're good for the night. I don't know if we're going to be able to get an interview.
So what was the standout performance for you?
Wow. A standout performance for me. Personally, very biased, Dana Giordano. No, she did great tonight, huh? On the mic.
Yeah.
That's what everyone was saying. I was getting texts when I was off air, so that's exciting. Danny Aragon in the 1500 was great. Eric Holt taking the Triple Crown. Tantio Lopez once again reasserting his dominance in that final 100.
High school runners might have stole the show.
Yeah, was that Roisin had... Was it Roisin? Sorry, getting the name mixed up. Or was it...
Well, I wasn't here for that one.
Was it Sophia?
My personal favorite is Tantio Lopez, kind of securing that he's going to be a little bit of a force when it comes to Tokyo.
It was Sophia Gurion. Sorry. Roisin was another stud 800 runner. We have a couple excellent high schoolers. And, yeah, I think that honestly might be one of the performances of the night. She's getting dangerously close to Mary Kane's national high school record. The huge personal best that we saw out of athletes in the steeplechase and just that men's race. That was like 4 guys.
Kaylee DeLay, I think it gets some sort of award, I think, for really bouncing back from Kansas City. Her win there, not even bouncing back, but just like keeping that momentum rolling and notching the OTQ here tonight.
So really big thank you to all of our sponsors. That race obviously sponsored by Finish Line PT.
They do great work here in the city.
They're keeping everyone in Central Park on their feet. So big thanks to them for sponsoring this race. Huge thank you to Heartbreak for sponsoring once again, coming in, making this possible. The free live stream on YouTube, hopefully getting track and field in the eyes of many new fans here tonight. We
check them out on Instagram, Heartbreak Run Co. You can visit them at heartbreak.run.
And since I am not officially CITIUS, since Chris hasn't given me my fair share of the company yet, I'll let him sit down with Dave, one of the masterminds, or I guess two of the masterminds behind this whole project, although Cooper's running around somewhere. So, Dave, take over here. Come on, come and sit down.
So I'm joined here by Dave Alfano, who is one of the meet directors for Trials of Miles, one of the brainchilds behind the 3 meets that were held, Texas, Kansas, and now here. So when you came up with the idea for this is it. It's all over now. What are some of the overall thoughts? Is it everything you dreamt of?
Finishing in New York City, absolutely. Coming to Icahn as a high school coach, and like even when I was competing at the high school and collegiate level, like the goal, the dream was to bring something like this to New York City, and just being able to come out of here with, like, I don't know what it was, maybe 10 Olympic trials qualifiers is, yeah, this is awesome. New York City's been buzzing this week. This is why we're doing this.
So it's one of the big things that everyone's been saying, I guess, about Trials of Miles is creating these sort of domestic opportunities for athletes to stay here in the States. Granted, this kind of came out of circumstance that we were so limited because of the pandemic. Looking forward, people are probably wondering, are we going to have more meets down the road, or what's the future hold for Trials of Miles right now in your head? Like, what do you want to kind of
Yeah,
take
that's a
this
great
momentum
question.
and
I mean,
accomplish?
we really enjoy doing these a lot, and we've learned a lot. We've made a lot of mistakes. We came into this game, the track world, at a time where there weren't a lot of opportunities when, if it was a non-COVID time, maybe we would have had to wait a few years. So we're blessed to be able to have come in and made an impact, but we want to do events. We want to do events in New York. We want to do cross-country events. We want to do things that just get people excited to race, and especially potentially do things a little bit differently. So, yeah, I mean, we don't want to go anywhere. We hope people, we hope this has been well received, and yeah, we're hoping to start scheming for the next one. We will be back at Icahn in July, so we're excited about that already.
Amazing. So, what was your favorite moment of all the 3 meets? Do you have any like top 5, top 3? Hit us with some of the moments that really stick out to you.
Number 1, Lopez, 800-meter Mexican record in Kansas City. That was
with the wind,
dude. That was so much fun. Man, being in Texas and just having just looking around and having the cast that we had. Yeah, I understand it was a little bit warm down there. It was a little bit humid, and the temperature wasn't ideal, but. Yeah, man, Texas was cool because we got to bring everyone together. There wasn't anything at that time. But even tonight, man, we had Royce and Willis go 2 flat. We had Whitaker go 2 flat or 201 low. I mean, man, you're putting me on the spot. That's a pretty tough one. I have to say, though, having Finish Line PT sponsor the last race of the day, I got to plug my full-time job, Finish Line PT. That was a really cool moment, too, having them be involved and having a tent here and having a race with Brendan Martin, who just ran really solid. So I listed like 100, sorry.
No, it's all good. You have every right to. You have hundreds of people at home who have tuned into this, thousands just over the course of the past couple months. Just in general, super thankful for bringing this to a wider audience. I guess I could speak for them, I'm pretty sure, in saying, like, thank you for making this happen.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. This is fun. It's over, and we're like, we want to do it again. We want to do it again. So, yeah, definitely more to come for sure.
So follow Trials of Miles Racing on Instagram. Maybe, we'll put out a post and ask, open it up and say, hey, where do you want us to go next year? If we're bringing back some meets in 2022, what events does Trials of Miles have to come out? What events does CITIUS Mag have to put this out there for? So I'm excited. I'm excited for the future for some more Trials of Miles racing.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And also, one more time, shout out to Finish Line PT. Please follow them on Instagram. They were a major part in getting this thing going today. If you're in the New York City area and you are a runner, Finish Line PT is your place. So anyways, stop plugging. Thank you again, Chris, for being here.
Of course. Yeah, thanks for everything you did, Dave. Let's get Kyle on here just in a sec so we can sign off and close this thing out. So yeah, everyone at home, thanks for tuning in over the past 3 meets. We've got we were in Texas, Kansas, and now
the whole world.
The last one.
This
New
was
York
great.
City.
This was really fun, and I think huge props to Dave and Cooper for putting this on. Just once again, like creating unbelievable opportunities. A lot of athletes wouldn't have tickets booked to the Olympic trials right now if it weren't for those two.
Thanks to David Melly for taking my spot on the mic earlier tonight. Ali Feller crushing the interviews on
really
the
fun.
sidelines. Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work.
A lot of people definitely putting in some good work to make this happen, and I think we're due to go down the track and see if we can do one more mile, Chris.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks to everyone for watching, and thanks for tuning in to the Trials of Miles New York City broadcast. Sweet.